good evening, family. Wherever you are connecting from, be it in Africa, Asia, America, South America, Brazil, whichever country, Europe, England, wherever you are, welcome to the One Africa Forum tonight. Um, my name is Ezra from South Africa. I will be your host for tonight. My brother Mika had to quickly do some other stuff, but he might be joining us. He's still busy with something. Feel free, family, for feel free to like, share, subscribe to everybody, friends, family, on all your social media platforms. Welcome to the One Africa Forum for tonight on the Swahili Nation channel. Um, as I already introduced myself, my name is Ezra from South Africa. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share the links. Um, what a wonderful day today it is. A nice evening. To those who are in Africa, especially in Central Africa and East Africa, we are already in the evenings. I know we've got people who are still in their afternoons in the Americas who are behind us, and those who are in Australia and other parts of um, Asia. It's already morning in their countries. Um, Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm not all alone here. I know there's lots of people joining us from different places, from different countries. Feel welcome to post anything on the chat, um, prayers, anything. Feel free, family, to share tonight. Um, and as you know, in our family, in the Swahili Nation family, we start with prayer. We will be going into an opening prayer very soon. Feel free to whatever religion, wherever belief you are from, as we'll be having a prayer, an opening prayer very soon. Um, and the platform is open for today. Feel free to comment, bring your thoughts. Um, we No one is restricted to say anything as long as it's not hateful speech. It's not anything to divide people, but it's for everyone to build each other. As we are trying to build as the people of Africa, we are building, and that's what we are about. And feel free to put in your comments, put in anything that you feel that it'll be for the betterment of everybody. And as you know that we've been going through a lot of challenges in the continent, feel free as well to talk about it. If there's other things happening, any breaking news anywhere in the world, feel free to also share with us. And I'm seeing a lot of people from all across the continent. I'm seeing Fatou Mohammed connecting from Ethiopia and Djibouti, representing Djibouti and Ethiopia. And I see Kali Maxamet Ishman connecting, I think, from Somalia. Um, Tell me where you guys are connecting from, where you connecting from. Thank you, thank you. I'm seeing Professor Ezra also on the line. Nice seeing you, Professor Ezra. It's always an encouragement to see you in the channel. I feel at ease that, oh, my brother is here as well to back me up, and everybody out there who's connecting. I see Hikma YouTube. Good evening there. I see a lot of people connecting. Just post your comment on the comment section where you're connecting from. I see Adinu Dinku. I've seen Adinu a couple of times on the Swahili Nation. A big subscriber. Thank you for connecting from Ethiopia. I see a lot of people, Caleb as well, connecting from Ethiopia. Comment, guys. Where you connecting from? Let's talk, Africa. I see Tadis connecting from USA, originally from Ethiopia. I see that. I see that. Uh, it's really, really nice seeing the what we call the rainbow nation in South Africa. Africa is the rainbow nation, is a rainbow a continent with diverse languages, diverse people from all walks of life, and very smart people, very generous people, very humble people. Uh, thank you, family. Thank you for connecting. As a norm in our family that we need to start with the prayer, and we're going to start with the prayer for today. And feel free if you need to throw in any prayer things that you wish that we can pray about for different places. And feel free to also join us. I will be sharing also the link to connect to the live stream for those who are who love to comment, who love to join and share their views and anything. All around that you feel that we need to be aware of or you need to teach us, feel free. This is an open platform. And as I said, to those who are connecting now, Mika might be joining us a little later. So, but feel free to join. I know it's a strange face for to some people to say, "Who is this person?" I'm just here today, just on behalf of my brother, as he's still busy with something, and obviously we cannot keep everybody waiting, and but he will be with us, and he is with us. He is connecting and listening, so feel free, family, to comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and returning subscribers, hey, put those comments, tell us what you want us to talk about. It's a Friday. In some places, we know some places already Saturday, but please feel free to comment about anything. Let's talk, family. As a norm that we are a family, and we will be going into a prayer, opening prayer for tonight. Um, and just a word of encouragement. I think Mika already shared one of the scripture that we once he once shared with us about calling on God in the times of trouble, in the times of in the times of trouble, where we need to call on God for whatever that we are going through. And feel free, family, to join us in this prayer in whatever, in your language, any language. It's not all about English. We are Africans, and we know that we are a continent of languages, a diverse a continent, a very beautiful continent. So feel free, family, to join and pray with us as we will be praying for different nations, different things as well, in our own ways. We all don't pray the same. It might be strange the way I pray, but join in your own way and also call on our Heavenly Father to assist us in during these times and to be with us as well, to guide us with wisdom and knowledge in all that we do. So I'm just going to share something, a scripture, but let's first start with a prayer, our just 1 minute or 2 minutes of prayer, and then we can get down to the business of today. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you for this day, Lord, that you've gathered us here together as Africans, Lord. We thank you, Father, that we can always call on you. We rely on you, Father, for everything that we need. We surrender, Father God, to you, Lord, for all that we are going through. As we are coming together to share, Father God, I pray for your wisdom, Lord, to reign in us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Oh, Thank you, thank you. I see a lot of people joining as well. Um, I see Caleb just joining us. Thank you for joining in prayer, Caleb. Um, I see. I see. Thank you, Caleb, for joining us in prayer. I see a lot of people are joining here. Please also comment where you also connecting from. Tell us where you're connecting from today. I see Yeshi is also saying it's time to stand together in prayer. Um, we'll be praying as well for Ethiopia as one of our focal point, focus as they are going through some challenges there in Ethiopia. We are with the people of Ethiopia, all the people of Ethiopia, and we are praying for unity. We are praying that Ethiopia will overcome their challenges this time. And I see a lot of people connecting. Ember, black is beautiful. Then I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people connecting. And I see Prof. Ezra is also here with us. Thank you, uh, Prof. Ezra, for being here with us, for joining us. Um, I see a lot of people connecting. Amira connecting from Ethiopia. Wow. Ethiopia in the house. Somali in the house. I've seen a lot of countries um, represented here. Wow. Wow. Eritrea. We're seeing a lot of people from Eritrea and Ethiopia as well. Wow. A lot of people are joining. And I see also Prof. Prof. Kuru. Wow. Will definitely be joining us. And I'm also at ease when I see Prof. Kuri in the house. I know that the intellectuals are here. We're going to be learning so much tonight from our brothers there. Wow. Um, and I will be just sharing the link very soon. I know some people joining us just now, and what can we talk about today? I'm opening the floor for anyone who wants to join and share with us their thoughts, anything that um, uh, people want us to talk about. And wow. This is very good. This is very good. It's very encouraging when I see a lot of people in prayer and standing with the nation of Ethiopia as well, and not stopping. Wow. Okay. Let's see here. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna be sharing the link just now, family. The floor is yours. Feel free to join. Feel free to be with us. And I see brother here. Oh,
Hey,
Prof. Ezra.
hey, Ezra.
Wow, nice seeing you, Prof.
Yeah, when I saw that the I said, you know what? Let me make some arrangement. At least be there at least for an hour and a half. You know, at
Wow,
least for an hour
thank
and
you
a
very
half.
much.
So
Thank you very much. Your
no,
your your
I
presence
know.
is always appreciated,
Yeah.
and we really appreciate your presence, your wisdom, and your knowledge that you always impart on us.
Oh man,
Um,
I mean,
um,
like, it's this the this feeling is mutual. It's the same. I feel the same way about you guys. You do the same thing for me. So thank you so much. But it's it is it is it's not just about individuals. It's about the things that are important to us that brings us here. So, and you carrying the torch today, and you're leading us forward, and we're gonna follow you, Ezra. We are at your mercy now.
Yeah, and feel free to also just open the
Okay.
floor if there's anything that you feel that we need to maybe tackle tonight,
Yeah.
that we need to be aware of, breaking news, any developments, Prof, if you feel that there's something that you want to highlight to us, feel free to share with the family who's
Yeah.
watching here.
I definitely, actually, like I have a few things. I'm sure it's on
Mm,
a lot of people's mind. I think you've heard me say this before that the participant to the conflict uh, is not just two people or two parties. There's a lot more people. There's a lot more interest, state actors, non-state actors involved in these conflicts in Ethiopia right now. And I would say this conflict is beginning to reshape itself into an African conflict, Africa versus the West kind of conflict. That is what it's shaping up to be. And all the signs indicate to that. And so let me give you some few headline news that I think yesterday came out that the U.S. Secretary, you can hear me, right, Ezra?
I can hear you. Prof.
Yeah.
Ez, can
Yeah.
I just, for
Okay.
1 second,
Sure. Sure.
just to thank some of our sponsors, some of the people that have been participating
Absolutely.
um,
Please.
in our, what's this? Our GoFundMe for Mika to go to
Perfect. Oh yeah,
Ethiopia.
yeah. This is a perfect
Uh,
time to do that. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
family. If you're connecting from anywhere else, you've got a GoFund project that will love to sponsor our brother Mika to go to Ethiopia. It's more like a working a visit to Ethiopia. He'll be there on the ground with the people of Ethiopia, and he'll be connecting from there, and this channel will be also be broadcast there live in Ethiopia. It'll be a very awesome thing that will be done first for Swahili nation. So and I would love to thank my sister Netsi. She's the one who came up with the idea that we need to maybe send Mika to Ethiopia to be with the people there on the ground, be it in prayer, be it in broadcast in any form, and to also maybe if there's voices of Ethiopia that will want to join and speak um, on the platform, they will be there, and so we're raising funds for him to go there, and feel free to join and be part of this fundraising that we are doing. Um, in whatever way that you can, whatever you feel that you can contribute. So feel free to contribute whatever you feel that you want to contribute. As you can see, there's a lot of people have been contributing, and feel free to donate anything that you can, and feel free to be part of any resource that we need. And we obviously have a lot of things with the live stream, and a program of where we have to do a site location shoot on a site. It's a bit different and challenging, unlike now where we are just in our homes, connecting and then just being on a live show. But when it comes to an outside broadcast, we do need obviously some resources and stuff. So this is the GoFundMe project. You can also donate anything that you think. It can be monetary, or it also can be in terms of resources. If you've got a camera, you've got a tripod, you've got a drone, whatever you feel that maybe you want to donate and be part of this movement that we are building, and that we are trying to show Africa in the eyes of Africans, done by Africans. I think Prof. Ezra, you have that. I always miss the code. I can't code you there properly, by Africans. Can you maybe just hit us with that code again?
Hold on. Sorry. I think Mika remembers this even better than I do. I think it's
Yeah, it's
an agenda an African agenda set by Africans. No, an African agenda
hmm
for Africans
hmm
by Africans. Oh my God, I forgot. Sorry.
Wow.
Mika, come and rescue. Come and rescue. I think,
Yeah,
I think it's essentially it's about, setting the agenda the way we want and how we are. It's like it's a agenda that reflects who we are, what we are about, and our values and our perspective. And it's essentially is a recognition that, our agendas are not always set by us, or even if they are
exactly.
set by us, are not spoken by us. So that's what about it.
Wow. And I don't know, Prof. S, if you want to add something about this GoFund project that we are busy with, maybe to the people at home or people who are connecting with us, if there's something you want to add to it.
I'm in the elevator, so bear with me a little bit.
Okay.
So we're not just talking about guys. We're not just talking about Mika just going to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is necessarily the but it's only opening the door to the the exists in the stories that exist across Africa. We will start. Ethiopia is the start, not the end. It's the beginning. It's not the end. So what we are doing here, we're trying to we're trying to get everyone to support Mika, and then the One Africa Forum, be in all those places of African stories, and be there physically to tell the stories from an African perspective, from an African angle. And that's essentially what it takes resources to do this, and that's what it is. So I have also donated to this cause as well. It's not just we're not just asking, we are also putting our own money into this as well. So it's not just you. Okay.
Exactly. We are all contributors as well into this fund.
Yes.
If feel free if you need to, if you have something, whether it's a dollar, whether it's whatever, that you feel that you can afford. You're not pressured, but feel part of a collective. This is part of a collective, and we are trying to build together. As Prof. Ezra said, that this is a project, and the project, it needs obviously resources to be a success and stuff. So feel free to join us in this fund. I'll also just send a link. I will send a link, obviously, of the GoFundMe. Let me see something here. And again, just to also
Can
thank
can I
the
say a little bit about a little bit? Some ideas just came to my mind. Sorry.
okay.
Like why are we doing this? Why? Why is it important? Uh, you know, I mean, the empirical evidence is so abundant. Empirical evidence, I'm talking about like facts on the ground, so abundant that's hard to dispute this. This, the claim I'm just about to make, that Africans don't have voice, that a platform for their voice. We don't have a voice. I mean, even African platforms, so-called African traditional platforms, like they just perpetuate, they are what, a refabrication of the same stories. BBC makes a story, and then a South African news agency makes, refabricates it, or Ethiopian news channel refabricates that. What we're talking about is, we are on the path, on the journey to establish an African media, a media platform for Africa, by Africa, and on African issues. So we are on that journey. So this is part of that journey, not separate journey. It's part of that journey that we are making towards And the reason is that we want to give you a platform for voice. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, this platform gave me a voice that I didn't have before. We want to make sure that there are many, and we believe that millions and millions of Africans that have something to say, something to share, and something to contribute to the broader African, to the One Africa movement that we all desperately need. All of us desperately need that unity that we need. We have a lot of voices that don't have platform yet, and Mika and his team and Ezra, who's hosting it today, we all trying to make sure that we take this to the next level of ensuring the voices of the people of Africa are heard. It might not be heard by Western powers or by Eastern powers, by outside powers, but it has to be heard by fellow Africans. So that's I wanted to give that for you. I don't know if it's too much. You can cut me off sometimes. I'm
No,
okay
no,
with
no.
that. If I take it
It's
to
a it's
part, you can cut me off.
it's a good explanation of what you're saying about this, and it's quite important that for too long African projects are Western sponsored. Why do we as Africans not fund our own projects as Africans? So it's also a hand as Africans to support our own products, our own platforms, instead of always having to go to Europe or going to America just to get funding to do projects in Africa. This is just a clear example of some of the projects that as Africans we need to sponsor as Africans for the African voice to be out there and to be distributed in Africa, sponsored by Africans, instead of always people having to go to the East, to the Chinese or to the Americas for funding. So this is also something that we can learn as Africans, that our projects and our ideas need to be funded by Africans first before we can say, I'm going to Europe for my app. I need a venture capitalist, or I need in funding. I need to start here in Africa to say, I've got this idea, I've got this app, or I've got this platform, and I need one, two, three resources so that I can grow my market share or grow my business. This is a clear example of us as Africans, what we are doing, and a lot are already contributing. So feel free, family, to sponsor our African brother Mika on this journey that he wants to take. And feel free to, if you've got questions, feel free to answer, post your questions, and we'll gladly answer to our best ability.
Let me
And
add a
just
little bit here. Let me add
yes.
a little bit of empirical. I'm somebody who has been educated to really rely on empirical evidence.
Mm,
Even though I know, we all know that not everything is evidence. Not
mm,
everything is evident, not evidence, evident. But so some things are not evident. So I wait for things to reveal themselves to make conclusion. And the
mm,
most recent conclusion I made is, that notion of freedom and free speech, you think is sacrosanct. You think it's sacrosanct. At least from an American perspective, it's a sacrosanct thing. You can't even touch. It's untouchable. It's
mm.
such an untouchable area. I'm sorry, I'm on the street right now. If it's too noisy, I apologize in advance for you guys. So, but I'm trying to make sure I'm in the quietest possible locations as I'm walking. Sorry about the noise if there's a noise. But back to the point, I thought it was sacrosanct. But recent development that I saw, that selective silencing your voices, okay? You have the leader of a rebel movement, okay? The leader of a rebel movement posting on Twitter, posting on Twitter is, a city of over 300,000 residents and over another 300,000 internally displaced citizens of Ethiopia. Okay, that's close to 600,000 residents of that are within the artillery range of the Tigrayan Liberation Front armed forces. Within artillery, that means that we can bomb the shit out of the city. He tweeted that. He's not blocked. He's not. He's still there. He's on Twitter. You can see it. Okay?
Mm, mhm,
They post fake informations. Let me give you an idea. Like Syrian helicopters that were, taken from the sky by Syrian rebel forces. Yesterday they were claiming they were Ethiopian helicopters they shot down, and they posted it on Facebook. It's still there. Violence that they're posting on Facebook is there, but Facebook is closing all sort of accounts that speak the Ethiopian voices. I'm not saying that all Ethiopian voices are innocent. If they are involved in promoting violence and unjustly, they should be banned. Nobody should be. Equal treatment of all. That's what you would expect if you are vanguard of speech and safety, security, and human rights. Okay, that's but that's selective. These things it tells you that of course they wouldn't do it to those people resident in the US because they get sued. Their ass would get sued. They would get sued because they are trampling on free speech. But they are selecting those who are not residents because freedom of speech in America, that is guaranteed in the Constitution, is not extraterritorial. The term extraterritorial means the law doesn't apply beyond the boundaries of the United States. Okay?
Mm.
So if you are based in Africa and you are promoting free speech, you're not safe from YouTube, Twitter. The constitutional guarantee, the First Amendment, mind you, the First Amendment in the United States Constitution is freedom of speech, freedom of expression. That is not, Israel on South Africa doesn't have that guarantee. At
Mm.
any time, his speech can be curtailed by YouTube because you're not a resident here. You cannot claim any legal protection. And to me, okay, even if there is no legal protection, the ideals of free speech, you would expect the U.S. government and the people, institutions of U.S. will respect and value it, but they don't. So one of the reasons why you need to support African voices like Mika is because resources are required to make sure that you can establish your own website and nobody can block you from sharing your video. You can establish your own platform for media beyond YouTube. Even though YouTube is not our destination, YouTube is a transition. It's a bridge that we are crossing over. So we're hoping for stronger and more robust media platform. We are in that journey right now. But as we go toward that journey, we need to establish our foundations. And Mika's journey to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, is part of that building the foundations of this bigger idea that we want to implement. So I just wanted to give that for a lot of people who might be thinking, okay, why are we supporting this? We're supporting this because you are the only one who can make sure that your voices are heard, not somebody else's. You can't pass this responsibility to others. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Prof. Ezra, for your insight and for your knowledge.
Thank you,
Uh,
Excellency Pastor Ezra. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And also just to thank some of the members, um, those who are always who have joined our membership. Um, you can see some of the guys that have joined the membership at the moment. Feel free, family, to join as well. Um, if you want to join the membership, check the link below on YouTube. We've got the link here currently as well. You can join the membership and be part of the sponsoring of this movement as well. Huh. Prof. Ezra,
Yeah,
I think you had already started. You were on fire there, and I had to kind of block you. I hope I didn't
it's okay.
interrupt your thoughts.
No, it's okay. No, no. You were on an important assignment. I mean, the first thing first. When you want to walk, you have to put your one foot forward. So you gotta take the one foot forward is the important one, which you just did. Okay.
Exactly. And I'm just gonna say also share the link for the guys that want to join the live link and share your thoughts. Join us and let's hear your thoughts as well, family. I've just sent the link for those who love to join us here on the live stream, and we want to hear your thoughts and your your ideas. The floor is yours, Prof. Ezra.
Just give me a second, okay? Just give me like a minute before I go. Okay.
Okay, no prob. Feel free, family. I just shared the link as well. If you want to join here with us and be part of this discussion tonight. Whatever you feel that we need to discuss, feel free to join us. And I see a lot of people are joining us. I see Prof. Kuru is already here as well. uh, is already on fire. That the point we need to stress is African leaders need to speak up, and we Ethiopians need to be united. And that's Prof. Kuri right there saying the Ethiopian people need to be united during this time, and the leaders need to speak up. I see a lot of people also here. Turn the link on the link and the link. Okay, I've just sent the link, family. Can join here if you. Okay, I see Prof. Kuru is also here on the live stream. Prof. Kuru.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
I see you already on fire, Prof. Kuru.
Yeah. We today we need flames, man.
We
Flames,
need
flames,
flames,
all over the
flames, eh?
place.
Yeah. Somebody needs to be fired.
Yeah, somebody. Today's the day, man. Today's the day.
Yeah.
What up, Ezra?
Hey, what's up, Guru? Professor
What up,
Guru,
Mike?
thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
If-
for some
You know,
reason,
if Mika was hosting, I would not have joined today.
I think it's better without Mika. I think.
He's
I don't know. For
listening
some
to us,
reason,
eh?
the connection starts like working. All of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like,
all of a sudden your network and connection is perfect, better. Eh? Like he was stealing your network from Ethiopia.
yeah.
I think the proximity to Ethiopia, Tanzania has is probably playing havoc on network in Ethiopia. Huh?
Yo, I know. Go figure. Like, who knew?
You know,
Yeah, guys, how you
Hey,
guys
it's
doing?
good. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. Laughing, even when you are in distress and challenging times, laughing, it's an incredible power. So I'm glad that we have something to to, to smile about, even if it's a
Yeah,
slight joke.
yeah,
yeah,
man.
Can,
But
can I give you guys some updates, and then I think Kuru could also give us some updates. Okay, can I go on the update part that
yeah,
we started earlier? Is that okay,
yeah,
Ezra?
sure. Go
all
ahead.
cool, all cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So news like the U.S. Secretary of State yesterday announced that he'll be taking trips to Africa. He'll be traveling to Kenya, Nigeria, and Senegal. I think it's this Monday. I think this is happening this
Oh,
Monday.
Lincoln.
Secretary Bilkin is coming to Africa. Uh,
Guterres.
Oh,
no. Secretary Blinken, Secretary of State
Lincoln.
Bilkin is coming to this thing. So I wanted to share
Oh,
that news and the implication. We will discuss it. Another news is there's a number of people, a number of U.S. officials that are implying, not necessarily directly saying it, implying military interventions and crisis in Ethiopia. U.S. militarily being involved is being entertained right now, and has a whole set of implications to it. And then, of course, there's all sort of issues of feasibility, political viability to it. I mean, when I say political viability, not just from the context of the fact that the specter of America invading an African nation that was considered to be the bastion of freedom and colonial, the fight for freedom from colonial rules and no colonialism. But that specter, that's one side of it. The other side of the specter is, America spent over $6 trillion in its war adventure in the Middle East over the past 20 years. And Americans don't have, they've been saying we don't have appetite for war anymore. And we want our sons and daughters back home, and our servicemen back home. American heroes should be back home. That's that's prevailing political reality here. Another political reality that is part of the equation that that's creating even more, making it more complicated for Americans is the issue of the fact that America is going through a very tough economic situations right now. Inflation is 30 years high in this country. I mean, I can experience it where I am right now. Fuel prices are like ridiculously going up. I mean,
Mm.
like it used to be like two something a year ago. 2.89 was a year ago. Now it's almost $6 where I am right now per gallon. I mean, like 40% increase in fuel prices, 50% increase in housing pricing, housing expenses, be it rent, all of that, and food prices going up. This America is going through a really tough time economically, and so there's a lot of things that are like part of this news cycle. I wanted to make sure that people understand what's going on, the context of it, and so. And I smell a sense of desperation on the part of the Americans to go that far. And then I think somehow is also propelling the news. The news is that the Ethiopian side is getting like millions and millions of. The last estimate I have is about 10 million Ethiopians have responded to the government call for mobilization, military and another type of mobilization that's taken 10 million. And somebody was predicting that this news of America will probably make that 5 times larger, like somewhere between. So we are talking about 50 million Ethiopians will be rising up, and then so is the whole set of escalation taking place. And so earlier when I was saying, the conflict is not just between two parties. US is part of the conflict. The EU is part of the conflict. The UN is part of the conflict for different reasons. So, anyways, I don't want to go too far into the analysis, but those are the couple of news I have. Or three news. One is
Yeah.
the Secretary of State. The second is this proposal for military intervention, and the third is the escalating and growing, the fast-growing mobilization of Ethiopian forces that are trying to because this has become for Ethiopia has become an existential issue right now. And so that's the other thing. Ethiopia is also trying to frame it into an African issue right now. They're doing a so yesterday I watched a video documentary, not a video documentary, but a video presentation where the Prime Minister was part of a 2-hour presentation by the Prime Minister office where they outlined a number of issues and then they hinted a signal that we are about to move this into the next phase of the conflict, which is the Africa angle to it. And I think the Secretary of State's visits could be seen from that perspective, responding and reacting to Ethiopia's overture that this conflict we are going to make it to we're going to turn it into an African issue. You think it's just an Ethiopia? You're having issues with Ethiopia. We are going to turn it into you having issues with Africa. That is the angle the Ethiopian government is beginning to push, and that is causing a little bit of consternation among I think the Western powers, and that's another part of the context here.
Hmm.
I don't want to give news without context. That's why I'm giving, but I don't want to influence people too at the same time because context is not necessarily given by just one person, but given by multiple people, because context is much broader than just the issue that we're talking about. So, to the best of my ability, that's the most unbiased I can be when I give you context.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I wonder. But it remains to be seen when the secretary is here. What obviously the media coverage when he's you said Kenya, right? In East Africa. They start in Kenya,
Yeah, it starts in Kenya and then ends in Senegal.
in Senegal.
All
So east to
yeah,
west.
yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't go to South Africa. I'm like, this is the first time Western powers come to Africa and South Africa is not
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it is interesting
maybe,
times, eh?
maybe Ethiopia, maybe Ethiopia should send its secretaries of state or foreign minister to South Africa. Maybe, but I think to me it's like Americans are struggling to make sense of what's going on. And like, look at this. The the Feldman was here. Feldman was the president's Biden's representative here. I mean, for Ethiopia, for Horn of Africa, he was in Ethiopia. Was in shadow diplomacy, and it sounds like his shadow diplomacy didn't work, and then so the escalation of psycho war is this is part of the psychological warfare that's this is stepping up on the part of the Americans, and so but yeah. Anyways, Kuru, what do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah. I have. I'm going to elaborate like on the two newses that you already did.
Yeah.
But I just want to add one thing, right? So the Biden administration also sanctioned Eritrea
Oh yeah.
forces. Yeah, Eritrea for
Yeah.
her involvement in Ethiopia. This is a new update. It is today. They did it today. So the
Yeah.
U.S. just declared an economic war on Eritrea. So you guys have to know that also. And also, uh, you know what? I just sent you the link. I'm not sure if you get it or not, but there was this post that is, I think it's a Washington. I'm not really sure, but it says Ethiopian civil war is a problem U.S. troops can help to solve. This is
That was the second news
wow.
I was talking about.
That's was. But at the same time, we were like surprised by this, right? But at the same time, on BBC, right, the U.S.
Yeah.
general in Djibouti, the U.S. general in Djibouti says that his troops, the U.S. troops, are ready to respond to Ethiopian crisis.
But
Guys,
no. Okay, Kuru,
no,
if
yeah,
you actually listen to the video,
uh-huh.
okay, he actually doesn't say that.
No.
It's qualified. It's a very qualified response to crisis. Qualified. He
Wow.
qualified it. He qualified it.
I beg
We
to differ. I beg to
why?
differ. You know what? You know
Uh,
why, Ezra? You
uh,
know, there's a sayings like when you see an egg crack, all right, you
yeah.
have to expect a chicken. That means the chicken is coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
no, no, no,
So
no, 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 no.
there
What
they
I'm,
have
no,
this.
no, no,
Hey,
no, no, no,
Ezra,
no, no, no,
let me
no, no.
let me do this.
You're misunderstanding my point. You're
Yeah.
misunderstanding my point. Okay, my
Okay.
point is that like BBC tried to construe it, make it look like US is ready to calm and restore peace in Ethiopia. That's not what he said, though. If you actually listen to his interview, he said that our preparation is around responding to the crisis to save our citizens, evacuate them from danger zones, and that's the kind of capability that we have. That's what he just said. But the headline makes it sound like America is preparing for full out and whole out invasion.
No, no,
So,
no.
so they're trying to, as part of this, like psychological warfare. So
Yeah.
the headline is the issue here. I have the
Yeah.
substance of the content of it. It's like
Yeah.
in Djibouti, China has more military forces than Kenya, the U.S.
Yeah.
in Djibouti has
Yeah.
about 10,000 troops in there, stationed there in Djibouti.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, so Americans don't just have a cakewalk that
Uh-huh.
they can expect. And none, of course, Ethiopia, like so how Somalia made it like horrible for America to intervene in Somalia. Remember the Black Hawk Down, right? But
Yeah.
Ethiopia has multiple times the public force that than even Somalia. So you know how Afghanistan, the population of Afghanistan and how the terrain of Afghanistan, the nature of Afghanistan, how it made it difficult for American intervention in Afghanistan. You can
Mhm.
imagine Ethiopia is even much more complicated and much more difficult because you're not just attacking just a nation, you're attacking the notion of Africa.
Mhm.
So they are kind of like they know that's a trap for America,
Mhm.
so they won't go that far. It's strategically and tactically, it doesn't make sense to go for
Yeah.
military intervention, but the psychological warfare is much more
Yeah.
potent here at this point in time.
It
And
is
this
true. It
is
is
what I'm
true.
talking about.
I'm not saying. Please. This is okay. This is what the Swahili nation family have to understand. This, okay? I'm not saying that America is going to come straight to us. We're not sure about that, but what they're doing is they're, yeah, like you said, very systematically uh, uh, waging a psychological warfare, right? One
Yeah.
thing, but at the same time, you have to understand that they are giving you a hint what's
Yes.
about to come, because I'm sure they have like plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
now on the situation on the ground, when they are looking at the situation on the ground, it is kind of signaling that things are not going to go according to their plan, right?
Oh, their
So,
plan
and
A.
now maybe
According
the
to their plan
mask
A.
is started to come off
Yeah.
because they were wearing this TPLF mask, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that mask is started to come off. That's what I was just
Yeah.
trying to imply, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is where we are in right now. But this is when they're saying this, right? They will do it in a very systematic way. Let me tell you guys. For example, they will say like, we're fighting a war, a terrorist organization. Al Qaeda is a terrorist organization in East Africa. It's a threat to East African nations, right? Israel
Yeah.
from
Mm-hmm.
South Africa. Please
Yes.
note this. They say like, oh, Afghanistan. I'm sorry, Al Qaeda is a terrorist organization, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if Ethiopia is really occupied with her current affairs, right? She probably will let go and will withdraw her troops from Somalia, and they probably will say like, okay, we have to take our forces and we have to stabilize the region. You see,
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm.
decisive. Oh my god, these guys are like very shrewd. So I mean, they're not gonna go like directly come to us. That is not the point. Maybe they would, like, if all the if they were they're like puppets, or like if all the games are not played according to their plans. Maybe that's their last resort. But this is what they're implying at this current point, right? At this current state of time. So that's just what I wanted to add, man. And
Mm.
please, please, I think this is the time for my African brothers and sisters to stand for Ethiopia, with Ethiopia. Okay,
Mm.
this is the time.
Mm.
I think the time has come now. Now, like all the how do they say it? All the teeth are coming out. The teeth. So
Exactly.
yeah, man. Now you see they put sanction on Eritrea, and now they're like giving a signal, and they were saying like, "Oh, we'll come to you if you don't do this. We'll come to you." And now Blinken, right? He's like going to places, but hey, Africa needs to stand with Ethiopia. Now this is the time. So please stand with Ethiopia, right? So this is the message that I want to convey today.
Wow, we are definitely standing with Ethiopia. And we've got our brother here, Banju Essence.
Yeah, where's Banju?
Banju, Mr.
Hey,
Gambia.
hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Abdul.
How you brother doing?
Hi, Abdul.
Good, good, good.
Hey Banju, what up?
Fine. Yes, yes. Yeah, just so you can rest assured, we are definitely behind Ethiopia. But I think you brothers also, the Ethiopians themselves need to make sure they clarify, to at least make sure they hit on this issue, to expose the issue to more Africans, because people are also not aware of the nature of what's going on.
Hmm.
Once you explain it to them, this when they, as Africans, you start seeing yourself, because
Hmm.
the nature of Ethiopia is no different from Kenya or South Africa or any other countries. We have tribal issues, and it's the same stuff everywhere in Africa. So once you explain these um, issues, it's a very complicated thing. But once they get to understand the basics, then
Hmm.
they are on board 100%. But it's
Hmm.
people are catching on, but um, you know, as Ethiopians themselves stand up and try to at least hit these social media platforms like we're
True.
doing here, I think more Africans would at least try to understand, which is it's a very complicated situation to really
True.
understand it, because you really have to go back to history and try to understand how they got up to this stage. But I just wanted to also elaborate on the U.S. visit to Africa, next week. If you look at the inauguration of Abiy Ahmed, you know Nigerian president Buhari was there, Macky Sall from Senegal was there, and Kenyatta from Kenya was there. And
Banjo, sorry, we're not listening to you. I think there's your voice is not.
He was talking about the president. He was saying that.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Those are the people who attended. Yeah, he was saying that.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Inauguration.
Hello?
Yeah,
Now
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Banjo.
Yes. No, I said, if you notice, a few weeks ago during the inauguration, you had Buhari there from Nigeria. He was invited. Macky Sall from Senegal was invited, and Kenyatta from Kenya was invited. And the U.S. is looking at this as, if he's gonna invite these people, they are friends. He must trust them. So so I'm looking at so if they chose those three countries, it's the reason why they want to put pressure on those leaders also to talk to their friends.
True.
So that makes so I'm just trying to connect the dots here to see why his own country.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned South Africa, I was thinking, why didn't he go to South Africa or some of the powerhouses in Africa? But then I start to think deep, and then I realized, these three leaders were there. They were in Ethiopia a few weeks ago.
I didn't see that way.
These are like leaders are really deeply connected. They are very connected to Abiy personally.
So it looks like the US realized that they really cannot talk directly with Abiy because all the trust has is out of the window. So now what they're trying to do is utilize these leaders that he's very close to in Africa, and try to see if they
can I say this? Like, it sounds like like, if you actually really keenly look at it, I'm sure Abdul will agree with me. A lot of you will agree with me. If you look at it keenly, very cold-hearted, the facts, a substance, and the directions, and the flow, the inertia that is taking place, or the physics term inertia, or maybe even the entropy, that's like another physics term is, it points to who is on the defensive, who's on the offensive, who's on the defensive, and who's on the offensive, who has opportunity and who has quagmire on their hand. And I really, like, I guess I have a little bit of bias to Ethiopia. And that, I would openly admit to you that bias affects my analysis, no question about it. But overall, even taking into consideration any kind of bias, Ethiopia has opportunity. America has a quagmire issue. And Ethiopia has the opportunity and challenge that comes with it. America has a quagmire with failing policies, broken policies. Policies are just not going to fully accommodate the urgent need America has right now at this time in its history. It is so like their foray into going to these African countries. I mean, it just like the price is going up right now to get African countries to support them now. I mean, are they going to dole out $30 million for every African country right now to get their support? I mean, think Senegal is just going to be like, give us $100 million, we turn on Abiy. That's not going to happen because they know America is on the defensive right now, so they can ask even more. So if you put it on the chessboard of this conflict right now, Ethiopia has been really playing the game really well. Like, right now I'm realizing the ceasefire that was announced, the unilateral ceasefire that was announced in June, that was an incredible move on the part of Ethiopia to take something out of the equation. And the issues in Sudan, the same thing. So every turn of the way, Ethiopians are calmly and collectively putting their own set of plans and actions that really aligns with their own interests and their own policy, with their own vision and their own sense of where they're going. And Americans are just having a hard time trying to square with it. And then their policy emerges from that. America's policy emerges from them having difficulty trying to understand and appreciate the extent to which the leaders of Africa, particularly Ethiopia, are not pressured by America, are pressured by economic and demographic challenges. Those are the things that consumes good leaders in Ethiopia. And so that pressure is so. Anyways, okay.
Yes, Prof. Kuru.
No. I would just. I want you to also add this this thing before that. But for Banju, if you haven't read the article that was released on Bloomberg, I think it's in Bloomberg, right? It is
On
say,
Bloomberg,
yeah, you have to check if you want to check it out. You can. It's Ethiopian civil war. Is it a problem U.S. troops can solve? If you have a chance, you can check it out. Okay.
I'll check it out.
All right, cool. And Ezra, please tell us.
I think you shared the link today, right?
Yeah, sure.
I haven't had time to. I'm just gonna also share the link on
That's
that
good.
comments line. Then,
And Ezra, please, and Banju, please. Okay, let us talk. Like, what do America want from Ethiopia?
His name is Abdul, by the way. So
Banju is not Banju.
Banju is like it's a city. It's a name of a city.
Oh, really? Abdul.
Banjul is the capital for Gambia, right?
The capital for Gambia.
For Gambia.
Gambia.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to adjust.
Gambia.
Okay.
Okay. You were not here yesterday, so.
Yes. Sorry. I'll get back. Just give me two minutes.
Okay.
And if I can ask, guys, you know what you just said? It's very interesting when you say Djibouti as well. They were now sidelined. Tell me, how much exports and imports are coming through Djibouti's ports? Is it not maybe an economic strategic thing as well?
Yeah, but I don't have
95% of Ethiopia's export and import goes through Djibouti.
Djibouti. Yeah, because I was thinking, why Djibouti? You guys said that Djibouti. I'm like Djibouti, and that's why I wanted to find out whether now is this maybe also an economic warfare that's being placed strategically, slowly trying to also affect business and the economy in a way.
Yeah, but Djibouti has too many military bases. It's not just America that's there. Japan is there, France is there, China is there. You know, there's a lot of actors in Djibouti for you to get a unified, organized. And then the military bases in this they're not designed for large-scale interventions. They are designed for small-scale actors like terrorist organizations, okay, or pirates on the sea. So, but when you're confronting a state like a state like Ethiopia, you're confronting 120 million people. Somewhere between 10 and 16 million people could participate in any eventual conflict. So you have like a scale issue that you cannot, how quickly you can scale to meet that kind of confrontation. That's something that that's something that the calculation of. So what they're hoping is, let's cause enough kind of worry, psychological worry on the part of Ethiopians to kind of take a step back or two on this war path with the US and the Western powers. So they're trying to avoid that eventuality that is almost impossible to accomplish on their part. They're trying to avoid that. So by using this kind of these kind of manipulations, they're hoping that, but Ethiopians are not responding to that. To the dismay of the Egyptians, they have been doing it for 2-3 years now. Now America have joined it. They're realizing what is going on with the Ethiopians. I remember one time on Egyptian media where somebody asked, "What's wrong with Ethiopians? How come they don't respond to American pressure? How come? What do you have? Do you have nuclear weapon? Do you have some kind of special thing that gives you confidence?" So there's that misunderstanding and lack of understanding of the nature and the makeup and the vibration of Ethiopia. And that is, so that's what they're running into right now. Step by step. The other day, they say Addis was about to be overtaken. 25 kilometers from Addis are where the rebels are. That was a misinformation that happened. And the next day, on Sunday, I think it was on a Sunday, you had like 500,000 people come out on the street of Addis, and then 30 million people, 30 million Ethiopians protest across Ethiopia. 30.
And none,
Protest.
like no one has given a coverage for that. No
Oh yeah, but
major media has given coverage for that.
But they don't have to give coverage. But the people that need to see it, they will see it. And then even in the article that you're talking about, this
But the
general.
international media are biased now.
No, I know,
The
but
international
what I'm saying is they are
audience-
always biased. They have a goal and objective to achieve. I don't expect them to, but the powers that be, they see it. And how do you see it? I mean, I don't know the estimates of the number of people who came out to protest in DC the next day. Sunday was like in Addis, the next day was in DC in front of the White House. And this general that was putting his opinion piece on Bloomberg, he gave the number. He said 70,000 Ethiopians came to the streets of DC. 70,000. I mean, it's like, protests, American protests. It would have to be like women's march, to get like 100,000. The women's march in America. American political issues would be the one that will generate that level of number on protest level in America. And then this is just Ethiopians and then their friends, Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalians, East Africans coming out. And then he points that out as a problem, as a reason why America should respond with at least some means of military to quell what's going on in Ethiopia. Quell it. We have to end it quickly because this is a serious issue that we should be afraid of. 70,000. Yeah, so.
No.
If I can disturb you there, guys. Here's Mika. Mika's joining us, eh?
Ah, really?
Yeah, can't you see there's Mika here?
Oh,
One Africa, Mika. Hey, we miss you, man.
No, we don't.
No, your spot has been taken. Ezra is doing an incredible job. Yeah.
Mika, they say that the network from Ethiopia to Tanzania is being hacked, man.
Now that you're not on the platform, Kuru can speak without worry about network.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thank God. So what I was about to say, right? In your opinion, right, Ezra? Because this is something that we need to clarify. Because in your opinion, like, what do you think the Americans want from Ethiopia? So everybody should be aware of that first. Like, why are the Americans doing what they're doing right now? And also, like, like the other actors, like the Egypt, for example, like, what do they want from Ethiopia? Why are they involving in this conflict?
If I can answer that,
to me, okay, sorry.
Prof. Kuru, what I think, obviously, this is just my small observation on the matter. I don't really know. I don't really have the full insight of it. But what I've noticed is, obviously, with Egypt, we know the wound of one of the issues is obviously the Nile, the Blue Nile, and the dam, the Renaissance dam. That's been a big issue for them, and obviously they'll try anything just to make sure that there's sort of instability and the progress of the main project. Because imagine the dam alone, besides being built and this generation, we're talking about now distribution of the power to other nations, the surrounding nation in the Eastern African Community Bloc. And obviously, what's this? The in Egypt thing, always believing that they are the sole, the waters of Nile. It's Egypt's bloodline, exclusive bloodline,
Yeah.
And obviously, they will play a big role because we know there's no agreement even yet in terms of how much water they want and how much needs to stay in the dam for the hydro scheme. That one we know it's an issue that's not yet resolved. Maybe they believe there can be a regime change. We never know what's their plan. Instability, regime change, and then the project never gets its full potential, never reaches its full potential.
Wow. Okay.
Another issue, it could be business again. Looking at the Americans, We know that Americans are everywhere in every country, but we know that the government of Ethiopia is going through reforms in terms of privatizing. We talked about the other time. We talked about the telecommunication
Mm-hmm.
being open now. The first license is given to Safaricom, right? We said
Safaricom, yeah.
A
Is it?
Safaricom, right?
Is it
a
also in South
conglomerate.
Africa? Safaricom?
Safaricom is at the front, but they are American and European interests
Interest
aligned
there.
together.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we know that Ethiopia is going through reforms in terms of trying to open up the economy. So everyone is also playing a hand in terms of the influence, and with all major powers, if they don't really have a full alliance and to do business with you and have access to your markets and stuff, they can try to pull strings to have sort of a regime change whenever they feel that they are getting hostility, or reforms are not made in such a way that it favors them, or they're not done as quick as possible.
Mm,
So, but it's also deeper than that. Obviously,
true.
we don't know whether maybe there's a fallout. The boardroom stories, the boardroom disagreements. We don't know
Hmm.
them, and there could be as well that instability, regime change, economic sanctions. They obviously they also testing the waters first.
Yeah.
We sanction their line of trade. I
Yeah.
mean, it's also a strategic move. As much as I think Prof. Ezra said something about the bases that are there, but America,
Hmm.
with business, they know that they can squeeze people out, and the other powerhouses that are there, we know. I think the Chinese, I think they also have a bay there. I think the French have a
Major.
military
Yeah.
bay. So I think those will just keep quiet, unless if
Mm.
the Americans touch the Chinese interest, of which they are also fighting. China and America, we know that there's still the trade war that's still going on.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
also not in good terms in terms of trade, and
Yeah.
so much is going on, and it's now also a proxy war. Sometimes when you fund people to destabilize their country, it's a proxy war for whoever you're funding, that maybe they will come into power, and then you'll be able to have somebody who can become your puppet, that you
Yeah.
can control and say, do this policy, don't, this one is bad for your country, give you loans, and then the country cannot even make independent choices because they are so entangled in World Bank loans and other international
Very
finance
good.
institutions. you know but
Very good.
there's obviously maybe a bigger issue,
Yeah.
despite the fact that obviously there's also issues internally inside Ethiopia, among
Yes.
the people. There's things that people also want. I guess everyone wants development. That's one of the things that I know. We all need development. We all need progress, and
Yeah.
obviously it's also deeper. I can't say so much about the internal issues of Ethiopia in terms of what the cries of other people, why other people are trying to pull away from their national goal as a country and to build.
Very good.
So just
Fund.
my little small
No,
observation.
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
know,
no.
Pedro.
That's very good. That's excellent, man. But I just want to add one thing. The major you mentioned a very major point. That is African agreement with China. African relationship with Chinese. That is really because that is really shifting. The shifting the socio-economic demography of the continent, right? So that is a major part because we all know that China is really building this one road initiative, right?
Yeah. The Silk
And
Road Initiative. Yeah.
yeah, that's and if you guys can take a look back and see like all the infrastructures and developmental projects that has been done by the Western nations. One, it is it is non-existent, to be honest. For example, like the roads, like buildings and stuff, like infrastructures, right? Look like this major infrastructures. The Chinese are doing that in Africa, right? And the Western, they don't know. What they do is they use their institutional, like the IMF and the World Bank, stuff like that, right? So they use those institutions and they use that for you to force you and to twist arms, to do whatever they want the country to do. So that's just their policy. But the Chinese is a give and take situation, right? So that is something that is really shifting the economic influence of the West. So that is something that is really threatening the Americans, for example. Okay, so I think that's America really don't want. I mean, they want to, uh, but they want to create pressure, but the way they are creating pressure is a very destructive one. So
Hmm.
that's just what I wanted to say. And Banjo, if you have something to say, please add. Abdullah, sorry.
Yes. You know, what the U.S. wants, to answer your question, is very simple. It's they want Ethiopia to listen to them, and that goes for every other African countries. They just want you to listen to them and listen to their recommendations. Because we are all donor nations. This paternalistic way of approaching Africans. They don't look at us as equal. We don't sit on the table with someone don't feed you and then you turn around and say, you want to have a debate with them, or that's how they're perceiving us from outside. They're looking at us as we receive. They're doing us favors, and when these difficult times comes around, when they talk, we listen to them. It's like a parent and a child. But with the US and the way that they're thinking right now, as far as Ethiopia is concerned, is especially with the TPLF. You look at history, and being in power for 30 years and the relationship that they establish with the US. US policies, they're informed by behind the scenes dealings, lobbying. These people are well established. We only look at them from the surface and say rebels. And that's, when you do that, you underestimate the leverage that these people have behind the scene and the establishment that they have, in DC and elsewhere, you know,
Mhm.
um, you know, in these big institutions. All these
True.
people are talking, and people are not really looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from, this perspective. And why is the US not looking at it from our perspective? Why how come we are all frustrated and saying this is the right thing to do, and they're very reluctant? Is because there's more work going on behind the scenes, and the people that are talking behind the scenes, we don't know them, but we know these establishments that are there. They're not small. They're not, these people, 30 years of ruling Ethiopia was not, that's not just yesterday. This is
Mhm.
a long time relationship, and they had a very good relationship, and that relationship continued even with when Abiy came. So
Mhm.
I think we also have to look at it from that. This is not it's not as easy as I thought it was. Before I started really reading into this
Mhm.
situation.
And guys, if I can
Can I?
ask you sorry there, Prof. Ezra, by this comment by Tony Kum, what do you think of his comment here? Where he says America wants Ethiopia to slow down its incredible development and to stop the China relationship. What do you guys think of that comment?
I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that comment is exactly what it is. And Americans have been telling us directly to that. They've been
Hmm.
telling us, even publicly. But you have to read between the lines sometimes to see it. I mean, Feldman, before his latest travel, he put out an article. I think it was a speech transcribed. He talks about how well they understood. I mean, you read that and then you understand that Americans know clearly the people of Ethiopia don't want TPLF back. They know that. And like they say, we are not in the project of bringing TPLF back. Of course, the opposite of what they're doing. So sometimes somebody tells you what they're not doing or what they're doing. But so,
Hmm.
and yesterday, the article that came out that you all have to read, they outline why Ethiopia is important. One, the reason why Ethiopia is so important, America has to go consider the military intervention. One, the number one thing that one of the I don't know if it's number one, but one of the points they put out was the fact that Ethiopia has become increasingly the center of political and military and economic power in Africa.
Hmm.
It's an attraction. It's a center that attracts all those things, and America cannot sit idly and let this country fall apart. That's the argument they're making. Ethiopia is the
Mhm.
center. So they're not even talking about TPLF. They're talking about like larger strategic issues at play here. So
Mhm.
yes, the answer is yes. That's what America is doing, and but they're doing a very bad job of implementing that
Yeah,
policy. They,
but
that's
I
the
think
only problem is that they're failing at it, but that's what they're doing.
yeah. But guys, when I think of it, I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes. It's not about Ethiopia also. And this is what I'm thinking right now. I don't think it's all about Ethiopia also. Ethiopia is like the target right now. Like
The face
Ethiopia
of
is
it,
the target.
the
But
face
I
of the
think
target.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think it goes for the rest of Africa because you know why, guys? It's all about resources, right? You know how they get the resources? It's all about the system that they have put in. So now Ethiopia, to some extent, is starting to shake that establishment, right? And that establishment is the getting cheaper resources for nothing, almost for nothing, right? And it's not only the Americans, but also the Europeans also, because that's how they benefit. For example, if you take France, right?
Mhm.
If you take England and whatever, like all these European nations, right? So what I think Ethiopia is becoming like I don't and
The term they use
Abdul
is
said
linchpin.
there's
The linchpin. They call it the linchpin of the idea.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But Abdul said the parent says like I don't think I think it's a very dysfunctional relationship that we have with the Americans. It's not a win-win situation, right? It's not a mutual benefit situation. It's just me. I'm taking all the resources, and you say what I do, right?
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
all their economic and all whatever the economic or whatever establishment that they have is being powered by the African resources. You guys have to understand that, right? Take the
Exactly.
example
Mm,
for South Africa.
mm,
All countries.
mm.
Yes.
I think it goes beyond Ethiopia. I think this is what I'm concluding for my point of view.
Yes, and the U.S. really, if you really look at their history, America is not really familiar with African territory. If you look at if you talk about the British and the French with colonialism, then you see a lot of their footstep on the continent. But for America, they are very careful with the continent. Especially in '91, I believe, when they went to Somalia. Since then, that's the last time we've really heard of them physically there, because usually they'll go under the umbrella of the UN. That's why
Uh,
when you asking
Who was
about,
doing their bidding instead then? That's the question.
yeah, that's
They realize that, but Ethiopia was doing the job for them in Somalia.
exactly, exactly, and that's why they need.
Paid, yeah, exactly.
And I wonder, guys, in terms of the military bases, the U.S. military bases in Africa,
Mhm,
because I remember years ago, uh, 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 in Botswana, America
mhm,
wanted to bring their military base, wanted to build a military base in Botswana, and South
mhm,
Africa was against that. They didn't feel comfortable. The South African government didn't feel comfortable with a U.S. base being in Botswana, and I think
mhm,
that time that was when the president Ian Khama was still the former president Ian Khama was still in power, was still in government,
mhm,
and I'm not sure if they built it, but it kind of put a strain amongst the two nations, and of which those are like brothers states, like countries that share so much culture, everything.
mhm,
And it put a strain when America wanted to put a military base in Botswana, and
mhm,
South Africa was against it to say no. Why do you have to put a base, especially so close to us?
mhm.
And I don't know, because also this thing of having military bases in our continent, I think it also somehow starts there, where I think Banjul said America is very cautious of Africa, but somehow they're putting the military base. Why the military bases then in Africa
Yeah.
if they're very
Last time,
careful about it?
if you remember, right? Last time I told
Mm,
you this, right? You can check
mm,
all the military bases in Africa. You can check all the map, right? And then you see like in some countries they have like not Americans but all the nations, the military bases that are in Africa. When you see the stat and you see like there are two or three, maybe to the maximum there are four military bases in different parts of the continent,
mm,
right? The French,
mm,
for example, for the British are in the British colony states, right? Like the
mm,
countries, and the French state countries, something like that, right? So the maximum, some countries have like 4. You can check the data.
Wow.
But in Djibouti,
Mm,
I think they have like 8 or 9 military bases.
sure. Mm.
8 or
Countries? Are
9.
you talking about countries, right? 8 or 9 countries, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's 10. I think
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
in Djibouti. And
Mm,
why? Why? You have to ask why, right? So
mm.
like almost like 40% of the trade transaction that goes in the world, right, passes through the Red Sea, right?
Oh, yeah. It's also a very
Well,
strategic
very
move there.
strategic position.
True, true,
That
true,
is
true.
one
The
point.
trade,
That
the
is one point.
trade, the trade.
Trade.
Oh yeah,
And
you
like
know, I remember now, Kuru. Sorry to interrupt you
yeah.
there. I remember years ago, when they were speaking about the Somali pirates, saying there's the Somali pirates in the home of Straits. I think it's that the Red Sea going through the Suez Canal, that
Yeah.
same route. And many remember that time when they were saying there's pirates hijacking what's this the sheeps and stuff,
Hmm.
and then they said they mentioned something about, oh, then a lot of countries send their military their navies there in that region. I think that's
Yeah.
when a lot of also they started building more, increasing their capacity in that area, because
Yes.
they're saying they were protecting that line from the pirates and whatnot. And one of the things that that was I think the world missed out of that issue was that Somalia, they didn't want to hear the Somalis people when they were saying that there's fishing boats in their region. They cannot find fish anymore. All the
Hmm.
fish now they have to go in the deep sea to go get fish, and it's hard for them with small boats, while there's
Hmm.
big boats from other nations that are fishing in their sea, in their
Territory. Yeah.
territory. You know,
Yeah.
that was one of the, because I watched a documentary when they were interviewing some of the guys who were involved in this thing. They were saying we don't get fish anymore. It's hard for us to get fish, and to get the cash that we used to get. It's no more. It's no longer there. And when we are looking at our sea, there's big boats that are there taking our fish, and we have to go in the deep sea that we don't even have the resources to do that. And then
Hmm.
people came up with the idea that this is the easy target where we can get our money back in a way, because there's
Hmm.
people from many countries, both from other countries, that are fishing in their territory, since they don't
Hmm.
have what do you call this? They don't have the navy to protect their sea. So
Hmm.
that was the other side, that the media never went with the story to
No.
say,
No.
why are the people of Somalia now trying? Some people are in the boat trying to hijack boats or any of that stuff. Why are they having guns and in so much in the seas? And I think the media failed to even show the other side and really show that the people are no longer they are not able to feed themselves, because that's their waters, and those people are fishermen. They've been living off the sea for many years, even generations. Those been family businesses, and now they can't get the fish, or their fish is very low, and they're not
Yeah.
making profit. So those are the things that the media, where they never talked about it. Your big media house, they never catch up and say, let's speak to the people, let's really show their problem, their plight, why are they doing this, and also what ways they can help them in such a way that they will not go to the sea and struggle so much, you know.
The
Okay. Then
piracy,
also.
the piracy was reverse. It was a
Was
reverse piracy.
repressed,
Yeah,
exactly,
so they
you
were
know.
stealing their fish,
Woo!
and then, so what do you expect from Somalia, but to join in a tripartite alliance with Ethiopia and Eritrea, because it's too weak to protect themselves now,
Good point.
to
Good point.
project any kind of sovereignty. That's what Somalia is struggling with. They don't have
Good
a
point.
sense of sovereignty right now. Sovereignty, even divided into almost 3 distinct areas. Like, but what is so, to me, like, another thing I want to add to you, China's military base might be, I mean, this fact might be have changed now by now, but the last I
Ezra,
checked.
sorry.
Yeah,
Before you go to China,
yeah.
can you
Mm.
did Somali reject the United Nations peacekeeping
No, the
force? That
African
is
Union. They want the
African
African
Union.
Union and peacekeepers force to leave the country now.
Did
They
they,
call
did
Yeah.
they
it
say that?
the
Yeah.
AU peacekeeper force should leave right now. That they're asking for that. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, so
Uh-huh.
But I thought
Is that like what
Ethiopia
the Americans
was
are saying?
yeah. But can I say, like, I want to give you, like, I know we're talking about specific angles to the issue, but I really, like, I want to give you the big picture issue here as well. Like, when
Okay.
I mentioned China, it's not slightly. A few kilometers from American base is the largest Chinese base, and the last I checked, is the only Chinese base outside Chinese territory, the only and the first one. It tells you the significance of the Chinese attached to what's going on in the region. And that piracy fiasco, the piracy fiasco, we were meant to see the culprit as Somalis, but the piracy was the other way around. Somalis were responding to another type of piracy, the hidden type of piracy. That happens. This piracy is not just limited to the waters of Somalia, and they are also on the western side of Africa, where European vessels venture into African waters and still fish there. So depleting the fish. So, but the big picture here is the conflict is much more nuanced and much more complicated. I think Abdul pointed this out earlier. I just wanted to add. I had this point to make earlier after Abdul made this. I wanted to make this point that this is a very big issue, complex issue. The military base issue and all of that, and then the piracy issue in Somalia, and the tripartite alliance that Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia signed. All of those things, they are not disconnected. They are very highly connected.
yeah.
Abdul,
To me, it just
do
I'm
you have any?
listening. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you
listening.
can add.
I'm just visualizing this whole conversation, and it just seems like a picture that I came across where you have the African continent in a, they draw like a meat, and all these countries, including China, they all had their forks around the table, and get ready to eat. So it just seems like they're all there, also, even including China,
Yep.
for their interests, and we have to also, as we are welcoming China into the continent. We have to also be mindful of China, because we don't want to fight them, or our kids fighting them 100 years from now. Because because they have to feed their 1 billion people. And if we've dealt with China. They're in my country, and I've seen what they've done to local fishermen. They can't even see any fish anymore. They come with these big vessels and they
And
clear
dogs
everything out.
also. Banjo, Abdul.
Yes, go ahead.
No. I'm just adding. Not only fish, they eat dogs also.
Guru. they, they can have
Donkeys as well.
they,
Donkeys are disappearing in
I would
Ethiopia.
rather them have the dogs. I would rather them have the dogs than the fish. We need the fish.
Hide your animals, guys. Hide your animals, eh?
Yeah. No, to me, like Africa's strategic direction should not be for any foreign forces. That's my point of view. Like one of the things that, one of the first things that Abiy did was put a a chiller on Chinese relationship. As soon as he assumed power, he said our relationship with China has to be reviewed. That's what he did.
That's
Okay, the Chinese were not happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
They were not happy about that kind of issue. But the Americans, they don't want just Ethiopia putting the relationship with China on a chiller, on a cold chiller. They want Ethiopia to take side now, decidedly. Are you with me or against me? Kind of ask is what is being asked of them. And then the Ethiopians don't want to take any side. They don't want to take the side of China. At least from a policy perspective, it doesn't make sense to take anybody's side. But
Like
your
the Cold
people,
War. Huh?
yeah, like the Cold War, it's dangerous. It's unreliable. It's a very unreliable kind of relationship. You don't want to be like the instrument of somebody else. You want to be your own instrument. I think Abiy is taking the the Turkish approach to these things. It's so similar between how Turkey is trying to resuscitate its Ottoman Empire ideals, without necessarily expanding the physical landscape, but also expanding like Turkish footprint across the world. And I think that's what the Abiy approach and the Abiy leadership. I want to say Abiy and the leadership of Ethiopia in total, because it doesn't appear to be him by himself. It's a concerted effort. It appears to be a very concerted effort. They're not projecting it, but they are signaling it. From their signal, I can read that they are trying to mimic Turkey. Turkey's 20, the
Wow.
last 20 years of Turkey, if you really keenly look at Turkey, the last 20 years of
Mhm.
Turkey under Erdogan is similar to Abiy.
Wow, wow,
Was
wow, wow.
under so much pressure in the 90s. I think in the 90s, I think when he came to power, 20 years, I think it's almost like he was
Yeah, wow.
Wow. Um,
Guys,
if
you know what?
if I can add,
Sorry.
sorry, Kuru.
Okay,
I
okay,
think
go
we've
ahead.
got a lady here, Anne Wairumu. You are welcome.
Please.
How are you, Anne?
sorry, I have a network issue. I don't know if you heard me. I'm driving, so can you hear me? Can you guys hear
Yeah, we
me?
can hear you now.
Now we can hear you.
Hello?
We're inviting, I'm sorry, we're welcoming
Uh,
a
just
guest
hold there,
here.
Prof. Ezra. We just welcome Anne, our
Hello?
sister
Can you hear
here,
me?
the only lady in the house.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear
Uh,
you.
we Prof. Ezra.
We can hear you.
Okay. Our sister Anne Wairumu. Can you hear us? Anne Wairumu, how are you?
She's not responding, huh?
Does she?
She's not
Anne, can
responding.
you can join the conversation?
Yeah, I think she left. Uh, guys, you know what I'm thinking?
Mm-hmm.
I
Can you hear
think
me?
we should do the same strategy. Like we can hear you, Ezra. Ezra.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Prof. Kuru.
Okay, so I think we should use the same strategy that the Russians have used for the Europeans, right? We're talking
Mm,
about like if we're talking about the resources and stuff like that, Russia provides almost like 60% of the natural gas to Europe, right?
mm-hmm.
And the I think for Germany, I'm not really sure about the stat, but for Germany, I think is almost like 70% or 60%, stuff like that. And you
Mm.
never say once the Germans protesting against Russia. Huh?
Exactly.
So I think Africa should do the same strategy with our resources to other nations, right?
Of
Be-
course.
Yeah, the sad thing is they use this aid mechanism, like the loans that they use. Take example for the Chinese also, because when the Chinese are doing like construction or infrastructure work in Africa, they
Hmm.
are guaranteed. They are guaranteeing resources for the next 20 years, 25 years.
Hmm.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
Do you know this,
Wow.
Israel?
No, I didn't know. What I know was there's a lot of bad contracts, a lot of bad contracts that
Tell
were
me about it.
signed.
Tell
And
me about it.
one example, I don't know if you once saw the story. It was in Tanzania.
Mhm.
Remember, I think the port of there in Dar es Salaam, the Chinese wanted to expand and build, increase the capacity of the port there as well. And I think there was then when the bulldozer was still alive. Condolences and RIP
Rest in
to
peace.
President John Makavuli.
uh,
that was an African man who knows what
oh,
he
okay.
he stands for. And
Mhm.
and there was some loans as well that the Chinese wanted to borrow the money, but then now the clauses that were there were like crazy, and he said, "No, I'm not going to sign that." Hence, but I
Magufuli,
don't want to go
Ethiopia.
there where about the conspiracies that are now happening or that have been launched. That hey, some of the deals that were not passed through, it's the reason why we're here now. You know.
Wow, wow. I
But
think
anyway, you continue, Prof. Kuru.
no, no. I heard that Magufuli is a very inspirational leader. So when you said rest in peace, I thought you were talking about the bulldozer. And I was like,
No, they
rest in
used to
peace,
call him the
bulldozer.
bulldozer.
I was
They
like,
used to
And then you say Magufuli. I was like, oh, did I make that? If Mika was watching, he probably will kick us out. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Mr. Abdul,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah, you
yes,
have anything to say?
yes. I'm listening. But like with Russia, they have a leverage. But with us, like you guys are saying, the loan issue before they even do work, like you said, they'll go ahead and build a bridge or a highway
Hmm.
for free, and then you'll have to, 100 years from now, we'll still, be dealing with, the consequences of these things. So it's like we're never. It's just the policies. We have to reevaluate all these things if we're going to be like the way Russians are doing with the Western Europeans. It's really unfortunate.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
Very.
But
It's
I
it's
think
it's no. Go ahead.
no, no, no. You finish. It's okay.
No, I was just saying. I said it's nothing. You can't even look at any avenue that is clear. Everything has an obstacle. You know,
Mhm. Sure, sure.
all the roads are blocked.
Yeah.
But somehow, hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Ezra.
No, I just wanted to ask Banjul just a little bit. I know we diverting a little bit there, from east to west. In Banjul, since you are in the Gambia and it's the smiling coast of Africa, right?
That's what they say. I hope so. I hope it's smiling.
You don't believe
So
that?
You don't believe that?
you don't believe that, Banjul?
I mean, I have my reservations. I mean, we're smiling for the most part, but we're still in Africa. Don't forget, we have a lot of tell these Europeans to get away from us. Then we'll start smiling some more.
Okay.
Wow, I think one of these days we should have some conversation around the Gambia. I think the Gambia is not getting a lot of shine. We know it's not a big country in
It's very,
terms
it's
of
like
size and population.
our population is smaller than the whole city of Addis Ababa. We're only 2 million people.
Really? I didn't
I
know
remember.
that.
I
We all
remember we
know
used
each
to.
other.
I used to make. I remember I used to make fun of with my Gambian friends about the size of the army. At the time, I remember it was 800 people. I used to make,
Really?
but don't underestimate the Gambia. The Gambians are such a strong people. And look at like they're surrounded by another big country, but look at how strong they are, how resilient they are. The Gambians are, uh, like my experience. This is my experience. It's not as small as they are not. They are greater, much greater than the size of their territory. Their ideas, their personality, their character, like such an incredible group of people. I mean, it's incredible people. That's my experience,
We're trying to
I
and
make,
didn't
Abdul is
know.
proving that, by the way.
but but the unfortunate part is Gambia, Senegal. It's really, it's one country when you look at it. Even you can go up to Mali, and it's the
Uh-huh.
same people. It's the same people. I can go into Senegal. You would not know I'm from Gambia, but we all speak the same
Oh,
language.
really? I didn't know this, man.
Yes, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
check
go
there,
to
Prof. Kuru.
okay. When you look
Yeah.
at the when you look at the map, Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, part of southern Mauritania, all these countries
Uh-huh.
are you'll find the
Wow.
same thing over there. So it's just colonialism, but really all these people are one and the same.
why is
Wow.
Gambia called the Gambia?
The
Uh,
British made it definite. They made it that way.
from Abdul, do you know this
Yes.
music? She's a singer from. I don't know. She's from Mali. I think she's from Mali or she's from Senegal. Her name is. Uh, she plays a traditional instrument.
Or the Kora.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Kora
I'll remember her name and I will get back to you.
Sona. You know Sona Jabati?
So, oh yeah, yeah, man. I love her music, man. I
Yes.
love her music.
That music goes back to the Mali Empire.
Is it Mali? Oh, okay,
The
okay. She's from
1400s.
Mali.
No, she's Gambian, but that's what I'm saying. Her descendant, they're from, when you say Jabati, the last name,
Yeah.
goes to that, in West Africa, especially in the Sahel area of where I'm from. Like the last name
Yeah.
says a lot about and your family. So when you say
Uh-huh.
Djibouti, that's a Giriot family. They are singers, praise singers. So
Wow. Wow.
uh, she didn't just start singing by mistake. Her father was a singer, her grandfather, and it goes back, you know,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
all the way to the 1400s.
Wow.
When
Wow.
they
That's cool, man. And
So
also, like,
there's Banjul,
do
eh?
you know Fatuma? Oh, we
We,
lost Abdul, I
yeah,
guess.
we lost him. Yeah, I was
Do
just
you know
showing you
Fatuma?
the, but I don't know him. Is it a
That's
lady or
Gambia?
what?
Huh?
Oh, Abdul. Yeah, Abdul. I'm just saying Abdul. This is where the Banjul is, the city. I think
Ah,
it's the
Banjul. Okay,
capital.
okay, okay. Cool, man.
So here's the where
To
the
be
name
honest, I
comes
really
from.
didn't know that. Gambia, I didn't know Gambia was a very small city. I'm sorry,
No,
country.
it's a
Oh,
country. Yeah, you see,
Abdul
this
will
is the
kill me.
smile of Africa. So it's all Senegal. Like imagine Senegal is surrounding this country. It just reminds me
Ah.
of South Africa and Lesotho as well, where a country is surrounded by another country.
Well, I mean, what's
It's
the
just
language they speak?
they speak. I think they're also a former British
British
colony.
colony. So
British
English,
Columbia.
English is, but they also
English.
have a local language, which is very well
Mm,
spoken. I think
uh-huh.
it's also called Banjo, and they are famous for their jollof rice. Jollof rice is considered to be invented in in the Gambia. It's a making you. At least that's what I know. I mean, if you say jollof rice for West African, it's a hot topic. By the way, it's not a small
Okay.
topic. So jollof
Wow.
rice is a type of food that a lot of West Africans claim is theirs. But I think the
Mm.
Gambians, it's the way we
of course,
Ethiopians claim our coffee.
if you talk about Jollof, the tribe that are named Jollof are in Gambia and Senegal. So I think
Yeah,
that explains.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
wow, wow, wow.
But
Abdul.
the predominant tribe in West Africa, in Gambia, majority of the people, and the majority of the people in Mali, and
Hmm.
majority of the people in Guinea, Conakry, and majority of the people in Ivory Coast are the same tribe.
Oh,
They literally speak the same.
oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Yes,
I didn't know
Wow,
that.
yes. So
wow,
these are
wow.
these people are the
Wow.
descendant of the Mali Empire. And then you
Okay.
have the Ghana Empire. And
Ashanti, the Ashanti
no,
Empire.
the Ghana Empire. The Ghana was Gold Coast, but Kwame
Oh,
Nkrumah, when he
yeah.
came, he changed. He wanted an African empire. He didn't want the Gold Coast, so he changed the name to Ghana and to
No, they call,
encourage.
there was the Asante Empire. The
Yeah,
Ashanti Empire
that came
before
later
that.
on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That came later on.
yeah.
But they adopted the name Ghana um
Ghana.
in 1957 and changed it from Gold Coast to Ghana.
Ga-
And
Gold Coast,
Wow.
as the name
yes,
indicates, a name is so colonial. Think of it. They
The Gold
thought,
Coast, right?
yeah, because they were taking gold from Africa, from that country. Gold was the British were taking gold, and then they didn't have any, they didn't care enough to say, oh, what names would you prefer? No, we give you a name to describe the function that you serve to the empire, which is you
Mhm.
provide gold to us at
yeah,
Mhm.
at everybody's expense.
yes.
Wow.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's the
Uh,
people are the same,
Abdul.
right? All these areas, if it's just eventually what's going to happen. These borderlines are just going to fade away, and you have a lot of movement inside. All these people are, they're not really interested. A lot of young people are naturally connecting to each other because they see the same. They see the fact that the culture is the same. Despite the fact that they're speaking French here and English here, but locally people speak the same language. As far as Ivory Coast, like majority of Ivorians, Cote d'Ivoire, whatever they call it, they're Malians by descent. Yeah.
Wow.
And you go to Guinea also. If you look at the map in those areas, because West Africa
Hmm.
is so big, um,
Yeah.
Mhm.
even half of Sierra Leone's are descendant of Mali, are from Mali. If you look at the tribes there,
Wow.
Guinea also, they've been fighting. They have majority of the two tribes. Half of that tribe also are Malians. Senegal,
Mhm.
half of it also they have the Wolof, but the eastern. If you look at the map, the eastern part are all Malians, and but Gambia
Mhm.
majority, I believe, 40% of our population are Malian descent. Uh,
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, and then Guinea, they're majority. They're majority in Ivory Coast. They're majority um in Mali, of course. So all these people in that area really are one and the same. Even all the way down to Burkina Faso. Half of Burkina Faso is Malians,
Wow,
naturally,
I
because
didn't
Wow,
know
yeah,
that.
because the bordering
so
countries, yeah.
you'll see a lot of countries in West Africa, but really the people are almost one and the same. And but then
Wow.
when you start going towards deeper into West Africa, then you start seeing different. Like that. That's where you come across the Ashantis and the
Mm,
Hausas and the Fulanis. Then you
mhm.
start seeing a different makeup of different larger tribes also.
Abdul, the same tribes, right? Do they have like the same culture?
No, they have.
Mhm.
So all the tribes that we have, I think it's the same for Africa in everywhere. We have the same. We have different histories.
Uh-huh.
Similar history within the tribes, but
Yeah.
if you're from like the Mali, if you're Malian descent, you come from the Mali Empire, and
Hmm.
you share all those codes. Like you just mentioned the Kora, and when I
Hmm.
mentioned her last name, I know exactly who you're talking about. Once you say music, because I start
Fatuma?
looking at last names. Yes,
Fatuma.
her name
Wow.
is her name is Sona. I think
Diwara?
Sona. Yes, Sona.
No, Soba Jubarte. You said it.
When
Jubarte
you
or
say
Jubarte?
Jobate in we all know automatically that she is a griot, they call it.
Ah.
So during the Malian Empire, they had different classes. So they have the serf, they have the griot who praise they have the noble families. They have different groups within the empire. So and
Hmm.
all these groups are identified by with their last names.
Ah. Uh-huh.
That tradition continues. Some of it is still bad because people tend to not intermarriage. You say, okay,
Hmm.
I'm from the noble tribe, you can't get married to this person. So it's
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's craziness. But then but they are what's important. These people are one is the same people, despite the fact that
Wow.
different countries and different national identification. But each tribes in Africa, in Gambia, especially in Senegal, Mali, they have their unique history. They have their unique languages. Some of the
Hmm.
languages are intertwined. You can really, tell that they come from the same.
Hmm.
They influence each other. Like Ghana Empire was
Hmm.
consumed by the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire was consumed by the Songhai Empire. So all those
Wow.
three groups, you can really see influences. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But they're one and the same. We're all the same people in Africa.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know Fatuma also?
What's her last name?
Fatuma, Fatuma Diwara
That's
or something like that.
that sounds like the way you pronounce it sounds like maybe she might be Malian today. She might.
Maybe she's from Senegal. I think I don't know. I'm not
Oh,
really
okay.
sure. But her
Yeah, but
music is. I'll
they
send
have
you
a
the
very,
link.
yeah, they have a
Bunch,
very
why
unique.
don't you join us like on WhatsApp?
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, yeah. Join us on WhatsApp, and then we have a group there, so we can share some informations, right?
No problem. No problem. They
Yeah.
have
Fat-
the
yeah.
Malian Empire. They had a very unique instrument. I think that's what you're referring to also. The kora,
Uh
K
huh.
Kora, kora. That
Cora.
kora
Okay.
dates back, since the 1400s, and they is still, influence their music up to today.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, I I love that music, man. I
and
love
that's
that
what
instrument.
she uses. That's what that lady uses.
Yeah, it is very relaxing. It is very like, like very spiritual kind of an
Yes,
instrument, you know?
yes. It's a
Yeah,
interesting instrument. They
and
believe
the
Europeans stole
skill.
it. Yeah,
Because we want to bring these people all together. I mean, this broken up into parts. I mean, come on.
yes,
There's so much the people, so much this community share with each other. So much that brings them that is in common with them,
of course, of
and
course.
that's why we are saying this. We're saying One Africa is because this is not acceptable. Like the true nature should be reflected in the way we organize our
Yes,
continent.
yes. Yes, if you look at it from the surface, you'll see a lot of countries, but then when you start looking deep, and I'm sure the same goes with, with East Africa. I'm sure if you look at Ethiopia, you look at Djibouti, you look at, northern Kenya, you look at Somalia, you will see very similar culture. And I'm sure the same thing goes with South Africa and Namibia and Botswana, all these countries. You would see similar tribes and culture and history also, and the same goes for
True.
West Africa also and Central Africa. So it's just colonial interests that's they separated these countries.
Mm.
Gambia, to be honest, is not supposed to be a country, and we know it. It was actually called Senegambia in 1981. We split from Senegal in 81. This is recent history.
Really?
Wow.
1981 we split. It was Senegambia. We used to be called the Confederation of Senegambia.
Confederation. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we split in 81. But it's the same people, really. Even
Oh.
Mauritania. As far as Mauritania, you go there. My ancestors came from there. They're one and the same. It's the same tribe, same people you will find in Mauritania. You'll find in Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Mali. But Mali definitely is the base. From Mali, a lot of these tribes they just spread down.
Uh-huh.
Really, yeah,
Hmm.
And
That's pretty
Banjo,
interesting.
if I
yes,
can ask there, regarding Mauritania, I once saw a disturbing documentary on Mauritania, about being hostile to other Africans and stuff,
yes. Mauritania have it's a very
especially if you're not Muslim, or if you
yes.
don't
Mauritania
belong
is like
to. I
99.
think the classes that you mentioned, that you must be a noble, you need to be from
Yes,
something along those lines.
yes. But Mauritania has a different issue. So they have religious issues and they have racial issues also. So they're not exposed, and I think this is the symptoms that anyone who is xenophobic or anyone who is intolerant, the most of the time is the lack of exposure that they have in
Mhm.
Mauritania. So Mauritania have a lot of Arabs. Half of
Really?
the population is Arabs, and half of the population is Africans. I mean, they're all Africans, but African not that are not Arabs. Black.
How do
So
the Arabs get there?
they've been there forever. They're not even. They're like mixed with Tuareg. We had these Tuareg people in Mali and Mauritania. So we have a tribe called Tuareg. They're indigenous people in North Africa. So if you go to Morocco, you go to uh,
Ah,
yeah. So people think
are
they
they
are
the
Arab, but
are they the same people who feeds the woman so that they get fat?
exactly. Those are Tuareg.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay.
those are Tuareg. So we have those. So Mauritania have three predominant tribes. So they have the Fulani, they have the Arabs, and they have the Soninke. So the
Mhm,
Soninke people are from the Ghana Empire.
mhm,
So the Ghana Empire touched modern day Mauritania. That's why they just happen to be there because the empire was part of that territory today. So
mhm.
their old villages are still there. So they are part. So these three main groups are in Mauritania. The two African black groups they get along well, but the Arabs, their influence is there, but they're not. They're more connected sometimes. When you look at them, they see themselves more as Middle Eastern than West Africans, and that
I
creates.
get it. I get it. Yeah.
So most of the indigenous tribe they claim that this is their country. If they don't like, they can go back to Arabia if they want. So
Wow.
there's
Wow.
a
Wow.
lot of disturbing issues that have been coming out of Mauritania, and I believe it's just the lack of exposure. People are not exposed. When you have a country that is predominantly just you, same religion, same culture, same everything, it's very hard to really understand that the world is bigger than what
Mhm,
you're saying.
mhm,
So I think that's what they're really facing. But you go to countries like Senegal, Gambia,
mhm.
where Gambia, my country, is 96% Muslims, but Christmas, you would not even know you're in a Muslim country. You know,
Oh, really?
so they're very, very, and I hope that continues, and it's gonna continue because it's just a African culture that is, very
That's
open
great, man.
like that. So we really, we always cross our fingers when we see a lot of stuff going on. Like, I hope they don't bring it to us. Once you have oil in your country, you're finished. You start seeing all kinds of so we have oil, we haven't tapped on it yet. But I'm just so scared that once you have oil, you just start hearing about terrorism and everything else comes up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mozambique was so peaceful until they discovered oil, and now it's gone.
Uh, mm,
So
mm.
Yeah.
so I'm glad that you
uh,
you guys highlighted Gambia today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we,
it's
we
part
will
of
have another session, huh?
yeah. We should have like with all the pictures and stuff like that. Bantu, I'm sorry, Abdul. Have you seen one of my presentations
Which one?
with the coffee stuff like that?
Yes, yes. I think I saw it. I think I even had a screenshot. I took some screenshot of it just so I.
Yeah, with coffee stuff like that. So I think you should do some similar things, and please introduce us to the Gambian foods, the Gambian music. You
Of
know,
course, of course, of course,
please, we need that. We need that. Okay.
of course, of course. But if you're familiar with Malian music, I
Yeah.
mention it, then definitely it's the same, same, very similar culture.
Oh,
Very
that's cool, man. You know what
very
I do? You know what I do? It's like when in the weekends and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll be by myself, so I will play this music, the music that I told you, right?
yeah, Sona Jabata, yeah.
Sona Jabbar. Yeah, I just play that out loud, right? And then
Yeah.
I just cook some food and stuff like that, and I really enjoy myself.
Yeah, it's a very nice school in Gambia. She just opened up a new.
Yeah. And sometimes I do some crafts, like some handcrafts and stuff like that with wood and stuff like that. And then, totally, I really, it's a meditation song for me. So I really enjoy that, man.
Yes, yes, definitely,
Mm.
definitely. We are
Yeah, go ahead, Ezra.
Um, Prof. Kuru,
Yeah. There's
let's welcome. We've got
yeah,
another
sure.
brother. I think Banjul is just having some network issues there.
Okay.
Can we welcome our brother here, Ebenezer? Ebenezer Tesfaye. I'm
What's
sorry, I'm
up, all?
butchering your. What's up? How are
It's
you,
okay.
bro?
How are you? Good.
We are
Oh, Mr.
blessed. We
Ebenezer.
are happy.
This is. I'm guessing this is Kuru Ethiopia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a
The
while
one and
because
only.
Yeah. I've been out on a field trip for a while, so I was really off. I don't know what happened to MC though.
I think we just we kidnapped him, man.
Whoa. That's off the book.
You
I
will see him
who
pop
who
up.
We're
You will
taking
see him
who's
over,
pop
man.
our
like this very
host?
soon from
Yeah, I'll just come
his
in just
hideout.
now.
Ah. What's your name? I mean, the host.
Ezra. My name is Ezra Ebenezer.
Ezra. Oh, interesting, eh?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right,
Mhm.
nice meeting you guys after a long while. I've been away from Swahili nation and I really miss it. Um, so what's up? What's new?
We
Oh
want to
man, a
hear
lot of
from
things.
you, man. Feel free to tell us. You must tell us what's happening. You say you're on a field trip. What was happening on your field trip? Did you find oil, gold?
Oh, way better than that, actually. Well, currently I'm in a place called I'm around west of Hararge in Ethiopia. I don't know if you know it. I'm on the field on training farmers over there. It's a
Wow.
beautiful landscape, beautiful place, and there's a dairy farm over there. So I'm supervising total mixed ration preparation, and so yeah, oh, basically training farmers and how the job is done because I work on a
Mhm.
farm. It's well, people are talking about Ethiopia being in a point, in a brink of disintegration, but here I'm to say that Ethiopia will never disintegrate. Ethiopia is gonna actually prevail through all this, and not only Ethiopia, Africa will prevail. We're not gonna
Amen.
give up this time. So,
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that.
Ezra,
Right.
can you show us? Can you just to show if you would on the map earlier? Can you go to Hararge, Ethiopia, and then maybe give an indication of Hararge, Ethiopia for people where it is, if that's possible. But it's a very interesting area of Ethiopia. Not just
Yeah,
the
let me see
geography,
it.
but also the culture and the history of that area. It's incredible. It's an incredible area for a lot of people who don't know about it. It's one of the places where Ethiopians from different ethnic groups and tribes and culture and religion have so a very metropolitan area where you have a lot of people from many from Somali to Oromia to Amhara to Afar to all aspect of Ethiopia's cultural traditions find their home. I think the Harar is also, I think, in the same area, very similar, very close.
Ara.
I think, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, I don't know, but Ebenezer can actually correct me on that one.
Just 290 kilometers from where I am right now is Har. It's almost 2 hours drive. Where I am going for supervision, it's an hour drive. So just an hour after that, it's Har. But I'm going in a bit of a deeper rural area of West Hararge, which is called Cher. So
Okay.
you can look at in the map, and yeah, Harar is actually a beautiful city. Like I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but like A
Ezra.
said, oh, another Ezra. No, I mean
Another
Yeah,
like
Ezra.
it's a force here.
yeah. Oh,
It's a
that's a nice
force of
one.
Israel here. The forces of Israel have aligned together.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So yeah, it's a beautiful area. There is a huge potential to feed the entire region of Somali and the entire region of Harari here, if you really properly use it. And I mean, that's the point of just the farmers, organizing the farmers to use the land, to use every resource available at their hand. Africans
Yeah.
by Africans. That's the motto.
Powerful.
I think people
Powerful.
don't understand. I say this a lot. People don't appreciate the preoccupation of a real leadership in Ethiopia is what you're doing. If you are a real leader, you deal with the real substantial and fundamental problems. If you're a real leader,
Yeah.
and the fundamental problems is what when you operationalize that, it manifests itself in what our dear friend Ebenezer, if I say your name correctly, is
Yeah.
uh, is experiencing on a regular, on a daily basis. The daily preoccupation of leaders that are trying to really transform or respond to the demands and the needs and the aspiration of their people. It will put you on the farmlands, it will put you on the minings, it will put you on the industries, it will put you on education, or a whole range of issues that, for example, I mean, you have what, 120 million. I talk about this. The demographic challenge is the issue.
Yeah.
That's the number one issue that scares the bejesus out of you if you are running Ethiopia right now. If you are in charge of Ethiopia, and if you are genuine about that leadership position you're in, you cannot escape this, prevalent condition. So prevalent, so on your face that you can't ignore it. Issue of food security, you can't ignore it. Issue of climate, you can't ignore it. Issue of economic and opportunities, you can't ignore it. Corruptions and good governance and political reforms, these are things that you cannot ignore. So, like, and then because of those issues, and then if you are a leader and you lean on these issues, then your energy and your power, your source of power, becomes the public, the people, the people
Yep.
that for whom that you represent, the people whom the aspiration is your number one concern. And so Abinez is a case study right there for you, that he's on the ground really articulating the issues and dealing with the issues.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wow,
Well,
that's
that's interesting. There's this thing that I read once. I really take that as my life principle and my kind of it's a daily verse for me every day. I wake up, I say, there is a huge problem in Ethiopia. There is a huge problem in Africa. Lots of problems, but problems give you an opportunity to capitalize on those problems. Problems are opportunities that are unused, untapped, especially in Africa. We have a lot of
Yeah,
problems, land issues, farming issues, technology. When you look at it and you just wonder to yourself, Why haven't we just sat for a second and thought about it? Um, if we just sit for a second and think, think and think again and again, there could be a solution over there. Anywhere there is a problem, you can capitalize on that problem and make that
Mhm.
problem and change it into opportunity. The
Yeah.
reason that people created vehicles, the reason that people created tractors, the reason that people invented farming materials is because they were suffering from the problems of farming with backward system. So like every problem presents an opportunity if you really see it that way. But if you
Yeah.
complain and cry about the problem, then that's where the problem is. I mean, our African problem is we were made to think that we don't have anything, like basically nothing. I was sitting with a friend of mine on Saturday, and he was telling me like what the West did to Africa is they took out every value, every um, potential from Africa's pocket, and then suddenly they told them they have nothing. And then the
Hmm.
Africans went back to their pockets and they checked, and there was nothing because they told them to take it out, dump it away, because they told them it's a savage way of living, it's a brutal way of living, it's a wrong culture. They told us, how to think, what to think, because they have a couple of things on their hands. Then we believed them. We thought they were good people. They weren't. When we were left empty, they just told us, "You got nothing."
Hmm.
So, like when you have nothing, you depend on something else because you already dumped yours. You have lost your values. You have lost everything about you. Then finally, it's about people who are they're out there telling you, "I can give you this if you do this for me. I can give you this if you promote these values." This is what's happening now to Africa. Like we're forced to depend, and we're forced to believe their values. That's where I said we were having discussion with MC last time. I said we have to redefine everything in Africa according to African values. Whatever the differences are, we have to redefine everything. If it is education, let's redefine it. If it's democracy, let's redefine it. If it's human rights, let's redefine it. If it's technology, advancement, anything that we say that we need, let's redefine it in an African perspective, an African value. This is where I stand, and I'm really happy to see different people around here. And thank you for the support that you're showing here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Abenizer. Like that's a lot of points that you raise right there. I mean, about the definitions of how things should be done, and as you started with the problems that the problems facing Ethiopia, they are not just in Ethiopia, but they are an African problem that are it's not just in Ethiopia only. And yo, you've raised such important points right there about oh, something that I just wanted to mention was the farming part where you're teaching the people and stuff and how people have abandoned what they used to do as primitive and whatnot. And you are in agricultural space, and which brings us to food security. I heard people mentioning also the climate change, how it's affecting you as farmers. Hopefully one of these days you can also come and just share about challenges facing African farmers and developing African farmers of the future, because in my country, for example, one of our challenges in agriculture, it's the aging population. Most of our farmers are older people, and the new generation are not. There is interest from the young people, but it's not as the numbers that we want to develop and continue commercial farming and all that, so maybe you can come and also just speak about the challenges facing African farmers and how it is when you're developing these farmers, what they go through, and the challenges on the ground as well, and also the positive stories, because I think at this moment more people need to hear the good work that you guys are doing in the midst of all this turmoil, this all this noise. But there's those good stories that are happening, people on the ground that are doing great things like yourself, Ebenezer.
All right, thank you. I'm here on as a consultant from my own farm, where I work in Debre Zeit, just close to Addis, 42 kilometers, and maybe 30 kilometers away from Addis. So I'm
Hmm.
here as a consultant for 10 days. Training and where I work, there is a technological advancement, but where I am right now, there's not a technological advancement, but there is a will. The farmers are willing to advance themselves into a technological um, state. I mean, to bring the technology into the country because they have the potential. Currently, they have 300 cattle, and they have almost 500 hectares of land for farming. So
Wow, that's
what
big.
what I was trying to show them was feed preparations and how to make uh, the feed materials on their own, by their own, and in their compound without purchasing lots of things, raw materials, because that's one of the challenges. But when you look in Hararge, it's a beautiful area where you drop a seed and it grows. You don't need to water it, and after 2, 3, 4 years, it's just it's a tree giving you another fruit. Like there is avocado, there's mango, and coffee is abundant over here. I don't know if you heard about chat, but also chat is also abundant here. It's one of the export foreign currency sources around here. So the coffee is also export standard, and they have the potential, but like I said, they were taught to depend on US aid, taught to depend WFP, whatever is giving them wheat or barley, whatever you provide them, they're taught to depend on that. Now they're just detaching themselves from that, and they're planning to grow bigger. Even in Oromia, they want to be the number one farmers union in Oromia, which is a huge state in Ethiopia. So like this is what we're trying to we're trying to help them achieve that goal because there is a huge potential in this area. And when you look around Hararge and you just drive by some of the landscapes, it's interesting how people live. I mean, the water resource in the area, the mountains are full of water. They just water coming out of the mountain, and people are just using them for irrigation and for washing trucks and everything. And there is not even a water line built by the government, but there is water from the mountains dropping down on the streets, falling down like a waterfall. So like there's a huge potential. We just need to wake up and see that we actually are blessed. Um, I remember once I heard Dr. Mensa Otabil from Ghana once said, uh, from Bible he took two people and he said Jacob and Esau, and Jacob is Africa and Esau is the West. So Jacob was blessed with all the blessing. That's us. But Esau wasn't blessed. He had only one blessing when he becomes restless. That's what happened, I think. We have a lot of blessing and we tend to forget kind of like when you're in abundant place, you don't understand the value of land. You don't understand the
Yeah.
value of water. When you're in scarce place, you understand what it means to not have water, what it means to not have abundant land, what it means to not have good and fertile soil. So I think that's where the problem lies. So we need
Yeah.
to wake the generation to use and actually exploit the potential of Africa. When you look at Africa, there's a huge potential. There's no water problem. There's no climate problem. There's no hailstone raining on us. There's no snow. There's no ice. We have a blessed climate. We can feed the entire world with 2 harvests from Africa if we actually use the land properly. And we have a huge other potentials. I mean, plant anything in Ethiopia. From what I have seen, you can plant anything: mango, avocado, papaya. Everything grows everywhere. So, like, all we need to do is tell the generation that it's time to start working hard. change our work ethics. When we do that, we change the livelihoods of Africans in the entire Africa. So I believe we can change. I believe we need to be taught how to change. We need to work on our education system. That's where I always say like the messages rely, because I've met many people on my way here, and they told me that the education system in the past, about Ethiopian education system, they were talking about it, and there was a lot of things involved in it. After the TPLF started ruling, they took out all the curriculum from it, and now the education system became kind of a cheat system. So if we
Yep.
don't go back to where we were, I think we're not gonna improve. If we go back to where we were last, 30 years ago or 40 years ago, then things will change. Actually, definitely things will change, and the generation will change. That's my my belief.
Can I add a little bit to Ebenezer's perspective? Like,
Mm,
I think you have identified like a core issue that Africans must grapple upon. And what is that core issue is, I mean, the reality and the perceptions don't truly align. The reality of Africa and the reality of Ethiopia is, for the most part, we depend on ourselves more than we depend on others. That's the reality. But the perception game tells you you depend on others, particularly those who give you, who donate for you, like this global industrial humanitarian complex that we think we depend on. But the reality of the fact that, for the most part, we have to depend on the things that we produce.
Hmm.
Ethiopia, at the end of the year, in order to be able to properly feed vast majority of its people, has to depend on what it produces more than
Hmm.
all this aid that's coming in. All this aid that's coming in is only serves the marginal, the margins of what is needed, not at the heart of what is needed. So realization of the extent to which that donors have impact on your economy, the extent to which, I say somewhere around 5% of our economy depends on aid. 95% of it doesn't depend on it. And then for the rest of Africa, it's around less than 2%. For the rest of Africa, less than 2%. Ethiopia is, they call them the basket case. It's a basket case because this internal, this global humanitarian complex, that's why they experiment and play the game. And that's what right now is under threat for them. That's one of the reasons why I say the United Nations is part of the conflict. They are not. They are participants, an active participant of the conflict, taking side. Is because that industrial complex that they've built over the past 30, 40 years is now being questioned, and then obviously in the process of being dismantled. So, so what I'm trying to is to say, add to Ebenezer here, we have to really see what's going on from what it is, not from what we think it is, or from what somebody else thinks it is. The reality is, we Africans depend for exclusively on what we produce. Now, the question for leaders right now is, how do I take Ethiopia's current, let's say, $100 billion to $500 billion? That truly and properly really like leans on the power and the might and the potentials of it. My estimation as an economist, as trained economist, my estimation, Ethiopia's economy right now in 2021 should be 2 to 3 times bigger than it's supposed to be. If if policy instruments and the way we organize and operationalize our national policies were geared toward tapping into this opportunity, this potential, we would be 3 to 5 times bigger than the economy that we have right now. And we will be able to feed even more people than the people in Ethiopia to do that. So by flipping the script a little bit, by recognizing the true reality of our ground, or where is our potential, where are our resources, how do we align our resources with our policy and with our vision, with our goal, by doing that and then operationalizing that, you begin to address this perception and reality gap, the huge chasm between the perception of how things are and the reality of how things are. And you fill that gap by doing that. That's what I wanted to point that out. And I think there's a number of incredible comments that have been made by a lot of people. I know Ezra is sharing them. Yeah, but I don't want to hold the conversation up. And I think some of these comments are incredible. They're a very good guide into how we look ahead. How we look ahead, organizing ourselves as Africans to really deliver on the aspirations and the promise of being on the potentials of Africans. And so that to me is what is the prevailing sentiment that is coming out from some of the comments.
I think
No.
I agree with you, Isra, and I really enjoy this because last week before I came here, I met with one of the famous artists in Ethiopia. If you know him, Grum Ermias. I think many Ethiopians know him, but maybe Isra doesn't know him from Swahili Nation. But you can Google him and you can find him. His name is Grum Ermias. Um, do you know
Okay.
him, Isra?
I,
No.
no, me, not even me. Even me, I don't know him.
Is he the
So I'm not good
guitarist?
at. I'm not good at this, so I can't
I'll
rely on him.
How do you
I'll
pronounce his name?
Grum Ermias.
Is he the guitarist?
Oh no, he's not the guitarist.
Okay, Groom Hermes. Hmm.
Grum Ermias.
Hmm.
So I can text you inside like Grum Ermias, something like that. You can see him. What I was actually trying to do
That
with
is a
him
filmmaker,
was, yeah, he's a
actor.
filmmaker. He's
He's an
an actor.
actor.
Yeah,
An
yeah,
actor.
Oh.
he's an
Okay.
actor. So he likes the idea of Africa. He likes the idea of African by Africans. His bio is actually Africa for Africans. That's his bio in Telegram. So I actually created this channel for discussion in Telegram, and we've been discussing a lot. And he joined the channel, and that's how I met him. Actually, I didn't. I wasn't thinking that he was gonna join, but he joined and he was talking, and he has really core issues to talk about Africa. And what I told him was, we need to start branding Africa. We need to start, making Africa a brand. Like America made herself a brand in the world. And look at the age of America. It's less than, I mean, it's 500 years or 600 years maybe, but less than 1,000 years old, but branded perfectly because of their media and their propaganda and everything. Africa forgot to, like brand herself, and
Hmm.
we depended on the West, and we just enjoyed their, what do you call it, their comfort. We're not the bad people. We're not the evil here. We're not the. We just enjoy their entertainment. We just enjoy their tourism. We just enjoy their products and everything. Last time, I think with Kuru Ethiopia and Mika Chavala, we were talking about, do we even appreciate the product of Africa, the product of Ethiopia? Do we use them properly? Because I've been looking at chimsy.com. You can see it. There is an African fashion girl who is making African dresses, African clothes. And I just look at them and they're so beautiful. And we haven't even had access for them because we're so focused on the product of China and the product of Europe and product of maybe Vietnam, Indonesia, or America. We've forgotten what Africa looks like. So I told him uh, that I will be challenging artists, I'll be challenging people, and I'll be challenging Africans that I find if they volunteer um, in Ethiopia. If I find them, like any African from Tanzania, Cameroon, I can meet people from Ghana, uh, Nigeria. I mean, in Debre Zeit. So I can challenge them to talk about African cultures. Do we really know our culture? Do we really know our uh, clothes? Do we really know the resources that we have? So this is what I presented to him, and he was really excited. And he hooked me up with an arts TV in Ethiopia. He said if you talk to him about the idea, maybe he can help you get it out loud into the community. That's what I want to do. Like, I'm not a media person, but I want someone to go out there and talk about Africa, talk about African unity. That's my ultimate goal, and that's my ultimate dream. And this is why I actually joined Swahili Nation, and I've been communicating with Mika Chavala for a while, but I've been lost. But I think we need to start branding Africa. We have a gigantic, it's like a sleeping giant. Africa is like a sleeping giant. Once awake, they know they will never stop us. So this is their fear. It's like their worst nightmare. So if we are awake, they know it's over for them. This is actually word by word, this is what they said. If they rise up, if Africa rises, the West will not have the lifestyle that they have now, because they're taking our resources, they're capitalizing on our chaos. We're fighting our brothers. Like in Ethiopia currently, we're fighting our brothers, but we're not fighting actually the Tigrayans. I've been looking at it from different angles. We're not actually fighting the Tigrayans. We're fighting the United Nations. We're fighting the Europeans. We're fighting the Americans. We're fighting any foreign state that's interested in disintegrating Africa. We're fighting them. So the people of Tigray are still our brothers and sisters, but they're misguided and misinformed. They believe in the wrong ideology, and they follow wrong ideologies. And then we're fighting them because of the United Nations, because of CNN, because of BBC, because of AFP or Washington Post or whatever is like creating the chaos. We're fighting them. So like that's where we need to work on. We need to work on African values, African culture, African introducing the African. I love when I see African clothes, like Ethiopian clothes, but we don't wear them. We just wear, like I am even ashamed of myself. So I'm here to like challenge you guys and challenge myself too, like to appreciate. Next time we meet, I want to know like different cultures that you have known. I want to know different things that you know about Africa. So like I think we need to start with, I mean, working with media people, with ambassadors, with um, educators, and all those things. And we need to work with these people so that we brand Africa, so that we brand Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, togetherness. In unity, there is so much that we can do. That's what I believe.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the unity of Africa scares a lot of people. And
Hmm.
the funny part sometimes when I look at it is like Africa, what you talked about, it's a highlight for me for tonight. That Africa needs branding. It's a highlight
Yep.
for me of most of what you said today. Africa needs branding, and it needs to be branded. And when I look at Africa and looking at us as Africans, and I look at how we were branded, it's like others had to step on us so that they can rise. And
Hmm.
us rising, it's like a threat to them. And even when we have no evil intention against them, we are not seeking revenge. We just want to build our families. We just want to build our continent. We just want to build our families out of poverty. But it seems like there's I don't know, maybe that's why there's something about Africans that we carry wherever we are, that some people, it's somehow when they see us, even if they may have stereotypes of us, but they still, like, they don't know us, but they still want to block us from succeeding. But it's like they know that if these people succeed, there will be a big change in the world. Honestly, look, if
Hmm.
Africa fixes everything, we fix our issues and we get things right, and we brand ourselves, I think there's no stopping us. I mean, Africa will be, in fact, it is the home of arts, entertainment. All these things will be in Africa, and it'll all come full circle. It won't be dominated by anyone, because if you look at Africa, it has all the things. Medicine is here. Everything is here. It's just now to make it, to brand our even our indigenous herbs and stuff, to make them commercially viable. Because we've had medication. Medicine has been here before. It's still here. Let me not say before. It's here in Africa. So much knowledge is here. Entertainment is here in Africa. I mean, everything, all the things that you can think of. We were not taught by the Europeans how to make steel. Steel, we were doing steel in Africa before them. We were doing so many
Yeah.
things even in Africa before anyone even came to Africa. Imagine an Africa that's doing that can just fix everything and do it on a commercial scale and brand itself. Obviously Africa will have everything it needs. It won't need anyone. So maybe the fear is there that, oh, these people, we will not be borrowing them money, we won't be controlling them anymore. Mother Africa is now independent, you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I
To
think
me,
you want to hear something there, Professor.
yeah. So I think to me, like, what I want to add to this conversation that you just had, which is very critical, is the core of what we're talking about, is we have to appreciate one a notion that is that is at the heart of those who are opposing Africa's desire to fulfill its aspiration, the aspiration of its people. And what is that the notion is that it comes from the very old, Adam Smith's kind of, pseudo scientific economics, which says that in order for, what they call Pareto optimal, like in order for 1% to be better off in the economy they design, somebody else has to be worse off. That's the notion that underpins Western relationship and even other countries' relationship. I wouldn't totally say it's just all Western, but all powers that come to Africa, they relate with us with the notion that if we succeed, and then they have to suffer. And then there are some economies that have made the calculations, very prominent economies that talked about this at different forums, that Africa's desire to change its circumstances will cost us.
Hmm.
From that,
Definitely.
so they are dealing with us from that angle. So if we rise up and say, you know what, we want to change the circumstances of our people, and then they will see it from that, because they're framing the relationship based on scarcity and based on limits, based on a Machiavellian organization of the Western powers, that industrial complex. The danger for Africa is to follow suit with that direction. I don't think the world needs another region that even puts the climate, the economy, and the well-being and the sustainability of this planet even into a more precarious path. So sometimes when you think about large scaling of things, scale, the word, the idea, and the notion of scale, we are adopting that Western value.
Hmm.
So we have to really re-innovate a lot of issues, a lot of things that govern the structural relationship of the world. So Africa's proposition, Africa's entry and foray into this global stage is not just to resolve the long lasting pain and suffering of our people, but in resolving that, we are also resolving long lasting structural, ideological, philosophical issues that underpins global relationship, which is you take and I take and you lose. I win, I gain. I gain, you lose. That kind of dichotomy that is built on false premises and false assumptions and false sense of where we are in the world in the 21st century, where we're heading in the centuries ahead of us. And so if we follow the path of the Europeans and the Americans and the Chinese, there will be no planets to live by in the next 10, 20 years. But we have to say no. You have had your share of destroying our planet. You have had your share of exploiting the planet to the detriment of its people, economic, social, and all political detriments. So now Africa is proposing a better way. This is a better way, a much more compelling, much more an approach that reflects the true nature of our humanity, the shared nature of our humanity. I think to me, Africa has to come with better ideas,
Hmm.
with new ideas. innovations on all spectra of issues. And then because we are not tied to their system, like I can give you an idea of education, for example. The education system that we have adopted from the West is so highly dependent on capital. The correlation between high capital, high investment, and quality of the education system they have in their system is so clear that we have adopted that education system, but because we don't invest so much capital in it, what it does is just only makes us more ignorant, less critical, and less empowered. Because we take the education system, but we don't have the resources to back it up. I can give you an idea. Here in the United States, where education is tied to economy, the poorer neighborhoods have poorer educations and poorer educational outcomes. The richer neighborhoods, because education in the United States depends on the districts that you're in and your community. If your community is wealthy, then have higher property tax earning from that community, and that property tax goes to the education system, and those areas have higher outcomes, better outcomes from the educations. And then you go to poorer, these inner cities, poorer neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods don't have high property value, and hence lower tax for the city or the district they are in. Hence the poorer outcomes that we have. So we have adopted that education system. My idea is that we need to innovate education. We don't. Why should we have to build thousands of schools in the 21st century that cost millions and millions and millions and millions of our resources? Why do you have to train? Why do I have to train the maths teacher, hundreds of thousands of maths teachers in Ethiopia, when I can tap into the maths teacher that is incredible and can do an incredible job in South Africa? It doesn't have to be in Ethiopia to actually teach that math or to teach the history. I can tap in the world that we are in, the technology that we have, we can circumvent all these structural bottlenecks that prevents us from achieving. So we need to innovate in so many ways, from farming to education to the way the world is organized politically, socially. I can list of things that is wrong with the world. I can tell you this: that we've given them the responsibility to run the world for the past 500 years. The result is miserable failure. They can say, oh, we're materially better off, but that material better off hasn't really panned out for mental better off, intellectual better off. So we are like, the world as we speak today is disintegrating and falling apart under the leadership of these incompetent, and I call them incompetent Western powers. Their incompetency is so palpable. It's no longer left to only the suffering of Africans. It's now transitioned to Western powers. Here, where I am right now in San Francisco, the prevailing issue is not prosperity, even though I'm at the heart of the Silicon Valley where there's so much money. The prevailing conditions that you see on a daily basis is homelessness, filth, drug abuse, mental health challenges. I mean, you go on the budget of the city of San Francisco, you see, I think it's like $12 billion they spend every year trying to address the issue of homelessness, mental health, all sort of ills in the community. They can't do anything about it. It's not resolving it. It's only exasperating it. So we have to say Africa is going to be the leader in the world. But when we are leaders in the world, we are not going to follow the line that you brought up to this point, because it's an absolute miserable failure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Prof.
I
Ezra.
really love this.
Sorry, Ebenezer, if I can interrupt there. Let's
Yeah.
welcome our brother here.
Big E.
Big E. He's in the house.
Hey,
in the
be in the
house.
house. That's right. That's right. Yo, my people, my brothers, my sisters, the followers, about this peace movement, about the love that we're trying to extend. I'm really happy to join you back. I was missing yesterday. I was listening part of it, but again, as usual, we got to do some kind of day living in here. Um,
Yes.
I was tremendously
True,
busy,
true.
and I was excited to join, and then it ended. So. Again, God bless you all. Xavier Kananta Garihun.
I mean,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
The first thing that I would say. And
amen.
our dream, our oneness, is for the peace and love in Africa. And it- the country has been, I was just doing some other different researches, and I looked at certain maps, the way they describe our maps. African continent being the smallest. I mean, smaller than almost the same size as Iceland, and a lot of other things. And I'm just like, oh my God, I said I'm not gonna be going entertaining that part because right now the real thing is how big and small they can make it is how big we stand as one Africa.
True,
That's the
true.
difference. It's not our map. We know our lands. Everybody knows their lands, and maybe there might be some missing land that is not declared yet. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
That's the only thing
You
that's
never
the
know.
issue here. Then nothing else
I
is the
think,
issue.
yeah,
So
the Rift Valley, I think, is split it, huh?
mm, already, it's, it's, it's coming to
But it
that.
Maybe,
will
you
take
don't
two
know.
million.
It comes to that. I mean, it starts splitting. It's that. But right now, our main, I just want to refocus myself on what is achievable and what is going to be a change. So, for your one part about the education, okay, in uh, in 1999, I had a challenge from this Pakistani guy, and well, just get together and people talking, and he realized that I'm from Ethiopia, and he just said, you guys are the ancient country, and he reminded me at that time that we've been independent for so long. How come we didn't make any difference into the African uh, unity? I'm talking about 1999, and I'm like going, wait a minute, we start with decolonization of all African land. We're just coming up, and we still have the apartheid in South Africa. And I'm like, we're getting there. We're working on it. So the challenge was, he said, what can you do? I said, the first thing is, in order to feed the hunger, which is, your stomach, I said, you got to feed the brain first. So my focus is on education. And I noticed that I came here in the US and I realized my education is not where I want it to be because it was really missing a lot of ingredients. The general knowledge of what's going on in the world is not there, even in the university level, because you have to take electives in order to understand it. Because in high school, I realized they don't have that kind of education. So I said, wow, there's a lot of things missing. He said, what are you going to do about it? I said, you know what? Since I'm in telecommunication, and by the way, you know, I did a lot of trouble, France Telecom, Los Angeles, including other big major players like Ericsson, Nokia. And I have an idea, my idea is that if I can get the most educated part of Africans, the most educated, that can spend their, you know, just a few weeks into putting their knowledge and share it with all Africans. So mind you now that 1999 there was no internet, there's no, but I'm looking at it because I just launched the Sprint system at that time. Uh, I was the network deployment director, and I deployed Sprint in Washington D.C., Baltimore area, the DMV. So I have a good knowledge of RF signals and all that, in all everything. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna design what I need in Africa. So I started with that. In that challenge, he said, Ephraim, you come up with this, okay, and I'll make sure you're heard. And I start working on that. So when I worked on it, I started getting connection with professors from Berkeley, from Stanford. I mean, different various universities. They said if this thing works, we're willing to spend our 2 weeks to come up with a curriculum. So I said, great. So now I got to work on the technical part of it. Is that I need cell sites, right? And I need switches. So when I did the design in Africa, it came out to 55 to 60,000 cell site, according to the map that I have. Okay, things might change, but it's okay. 60,000 sites and 395 switches. But now I can do that for less than that. So what happened is that I'll be deploying these, and now they're talking about electricity, they're talking about connectivity, and all that is still available, even though it was bulky, like satellite communication and all that. There are a lot of people that can give me the opportunity to use their satellite systems, that can really make me all the offers. And sometimes, as an NGO, they want to say, hey, you know what, we can get you the equipment, the material. So I've made a package of how this thing is going to work, and I submitted it to him. He was so impressed. He was so shocked. He said, "Wow, I didn't know you would come up with all these ideas, because now I'm securing the deliverable from the major telecom manufacturers, willing to spend over 100. It was like 107 million dollar ready to go. At that time, Clinton put $5 billion for this venture for African communication. So my greatest gift for me has been heard. It started December 24th, 2000, and Kofi Annan read my 75 pages of summary.
Wow.
He was so baffled. Listen to this. He was so baffled that he said, "How come we never thought of it that way?" Well, it's just fresh mind, fresh idea. Look at it from a different thing. So we have opportunities to make things like that in reality. And I even go back now, rethink it, replay it in a different level. So what happened is, in Ethiopia, when you are a 10th grader and your score doesn't make, you know,
The cut.
that cuts you from going to the university.
Yeah.
You have to
Mhm.
have certain GPA. So I
Mhm.
said, you know what? I want to use the old Derg time. What he did was he deployed all the high school students to go in the countryside and start eradicating literature, right? So we can use the same system, but this time I have 10th grade graduate. I mean, they're kids. You make a mistake in your life, and you cannot do your study. Probably just helping your family, and it failed to bring your GPA to that 2.0 and up, whatever the interest level that is. Okay, so I can use the same kids, go back to the countryside. Okay, being able to assist those kids that are from first grade all the way to 12th grade, and have an education online. And if there's a major questions, then we got a local teachers that can answer that online for them. So now it came into the power. At that time, believe it or not, I was still working in the concept. The concept is out, the process is out, is solar power. So I can have solar power all over the place. And that power issue is done. But now look at it, solar power, all this reusable energy, all that is available now. Okay, it's just how you're going to be deploying it. Then I came about across, okay, now how you going to interconnect? Hey, I need a satellite. Okay, I can have a satellite that I can download, and I can make it hop from one station to the other station, because all that information is already downloaded. So when they come into the classroom, they got this big TV, whatever, that they can be looking at it and go through their curriculum. And this 10th grader that is there will assist the students on what they learn, he would be like an instructor. But the instruction for him comes from the teachers. And that recycles. And for him, after he get done, remember now, all these kids are part of the economy, because They might be shepherds. They might be looking at their agriculture. So they're part, the fabric of that part of the country. So if you remove them to get education, somebody's going to do their jobs. So I'll get more 10th grader to learn about what they're doing. But at night, now, these 10th graders will have the opportunity to pursue the 11th grade, 12th grade, all the way to universities. So this program was started with the high school, but we ended up having your 4 years college degree. So basically, what we know now is a remote learning. That was my thing then in 2000. So the
2000, before the
education
internet, before the
before the
internet
internet,
even got to Ethiopia yet
I
at the time.
exactly. I
Mm.
designed the whole 60,000 cell sites and 395 switches, and all these 60,000 sites should be labeled UN because I don't want to deal with the geopolitics and everything else that comes within the country. But at the same time, remember, I work in the US and I know what it means airtime. I know what it means, that you have to have really a clean communication so those towers won't be abused for other activities. So I leave it to the UN to come with the legislation and everything else and expect that they will be erecting those towers for the purpose of education, no other purposes. You understand? So I worked all that details and how we can achieve that, and it's going to be because I know the questions and I have to come up with the answers before I get questioned. So I have all the questionnaires, Q&As, and present that to any government. They will appreciate it because now I'm just going to the basics, education. So if your brain is fed in the education level, you'll feed yourself and your family and the rest of Africa. That was my model when it came into education. That we
Um,
have to clear, and we have the ability and redo that, and we can secure that for all new and older generation as needed when it comes to education. Is our telecoms, our system should be delivering this or facilitate because now all Africa got cellular phone. It's just now the only thing that I need is a part to download information and upload information. It's- and is it possible now? Yes, it is. It's just how you're gonna do it. There was another guy that did the satellite education. There's a radio station, and you just go from first grade to eighth grade, if I'm not mistaken, and then he pushed to 12th grader, and that is radio based. Uh, and actually, it's under some company that helped them to promote that in Africa. But that failed because there was money involved to download, and it got complicated, and people just got out of it. But now we can still make our Africa great and greater.
Biggie, can I challenge you a little bit? A little bit. Let me challenge you a little bit, okay? I mean,
Right.
I worked on education like you on the ground in Ethiopia and in Ghana. And so over the course of the time, my experience has been even the notion of what is education, what is true education, what is the right kind of education, what is the essence of education. So I challenge everybody also here to go out there and check out this guy, a famous an education circle. He's a very famous. He's a celebrity in education circles. Those who are keenly education focused people, they read him. He there's a book called The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, written by a Brazilian educational practitioner, and it's an incredible book to read. 150 page, not that big, but very substantive. But the challenge I want to pose to you is like, I mean, I am of the view that we're not just educating people when we say education, we're not filling people, young people, with just information. They are not just vessels or containers where you pour stuff in there. These are sentient beings. They are human beings. And then from the Paulo Freire, who wrote this pedagogy, he talked about banking model. He talks about education that dehumanizes. So he attributes the industrial revolution bringing about the education system that we follow today, and he accuses it as just turning human beings into tools as opposed to uh, like building and promoting inherent human qualities. Inherent in a sense that we are born with it, but they need to be nurtured. So the dichotomy out there that we deal with, like, should we even accept the notion of what education should be? Like the notion of the nature and the notion and the nature and the form, the structure, and the substantive nature of even the content. Should education be about just content, or should education be about who we are educating and how we are going to use to empower them to believe in who they are and their journey as human beings, and then their shared values as communities. And so that is the dichotomy. What do you think about that? What do you have? I mean, anybody can say that, but I think Biggie, can you say a little bit about that? And I also want to hear some ideas from our ladies who are in the channel, who are on the. I think Kuru is encouraging them to come on board. We want our ladies. Eleni, please come and dial in. If you have network access, dial in and chime in your ideas. We want ladies. This looks like a, you know, um, I don't want to say the word, but you know what I'm going to say.
They'll say,
Don't
"Oh,
say
them."
it. Don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't have to say it. I just said
Right.
it, but without
It's
having to say
understood. It's understood. You
Can I
are
interrupt
getting
there?
everybody involved. I have
Can I interrupt there,
the answer for
Biggie?
you.
Biggie, can I interrupt there?
Go ahead.
I think this is a broad topic. I'm
Big
not sure
topic.
if it will be possible that tomorrow we talk about the education, what you guys have been discussing, and the question that Professor Ezra raised about education. Because of time, we kind of went past
One or
most
two
of our
sentence
time
maybe.
allocated.
One or two sentence
Yeah.
maybe from
So
each
we
of us.
will be wrapping up. I think Big, you can respond, and then from there onwards, then we can then do like the closing statements, and then we'll end with Biggie, I guess, or no, we'll end with Ezra again. So,
All right.
Biggie, can you answer? Maybe Ezra, maybe just try to summarize it in a way. But tomorrow we can come in and
Give the
then,
headline. Give the
yeah.
headline.
There you go. The headline is that I believe that no person should go all the way to 12 grade in order to go to university level. Okay, I already thought of it. I already
Mm.
know exactly, Israel, what you're talking about. I don't want to dump something that's we're gonna have to be very creative. Where I'm 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 building a future Africa. So for my future Africa kids, I want them to be colorful in their thinking. It's opening up the possibility. Okay. What I said 10th grade, by 10th grade, you knew everything. It's a lot of revision on the 10th grade. In fact, the ninth grader that goes to the 10th, you know, he's already on the first year high school, going on the second year, which is 10th grader on the average. So
Mhm.
on the 10th grader, you should end all the basics understanding about the world, the science, and everything else that's going to go with your education. So that
Yeah.
means I'm going to get you more exploring the possibilities. And the 10th grader that you might think they failed, they'll be great in the university. And they can, there's a lot of cases, people that have been like Einstein. Einstein was not the brightest kids, but he became brighter when he came in after the college years. And there's a possibility, like I said, to wrap this thing very quickly. The education part has to be. We need education reform, okay? And my son wrote a little piece to Obama, and he had the opportunity to explain them. Again, 10th grade, high school should be over. And we can use those 2 years that they're spending money on high school in college to support the kids to transition to college level. Because again, when you get on the first year, you're still whatever that you're going to pursue, they're going to revise everything that you're supposed to know. And 10th grader, they should have every available understanding. For me, I went to French education, and 10th grade, we have this oral and as well written exam to pass to 11, which it's not 11 really. We just look at it, secondaire, you're looking at troisième and everything, which is the third and second. And then second is equivalent to the high school level graduation. And then you got the baccalaureate side of the house. So from that part of education, I know what it takes by the time you answer orally and written, and you have all these tests, physics, math, all the basic science and all that is done. And you go on to the next level, preparing you for the baccalaureate. So that's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm coming from, the education part of it. And it's true. And Obama said, yes, we need a school reform, the education reform. So in that aspect of it, there's plenty we can talk about that. But my first thing is communication. We have to be interconnected as Africans. From education, anything that you want, we should be interconnected. And the only way that we can do is by having, forget about the UN, we can have it as one Africa and having our own network, independent network. That's when nobody can interfere. You know exactly what's trying to interfere, but at least, until they hack all the systems, at least we know exactly what we're developing in here. So believe me, it's not just the education. It's just to bring a little note on that topic that came out, because this is a very big topic. And because I spent quite a lot with a lot of professors, and just like you said, Ezra, believe me, they did say that. Are you going to go and educate the back the same thing over and over? And that was the question that was answered to me. And for me, I stood by it. And I said, hey, high school, put it in your mind. 10th grader, you're done. You should be in university the next year. And the early adapt to the university and higher level education, all the kids are going to be motivated and saying, hey, I can do a lot more with these 2 years in my undergrad school. This is where I end. But peace, love to Africa. I've been running like crazy. I had a few things that I have to do. It's all technology. It's all something new that's coming up. So I'll update you on a few things when it comes to technology, and I'll update Africa about it. And I know there's a lot of things that I learned throughout the course. Is by sharing your knowledge, is when you really have the people that's going to grab to it and move on to a better world. Ezra, it's a good point.
Okay. Thank you, Biggie, for your input. Always nice listening to you. It's like we getting hypnotized sometimes. Uh, I think when One Africa has a radio station, you should be one of those people, eh?
We call him the voice, huh?
The
The
voice.
voice, you know.
The voice.
The whole thing is I speak out of love from the
Yeah,
deepest of
true,
my
true.
point, and I think I'll touch a lot of people's frequency. Everybody's a little antenna receiving, and if that voice has the power with the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And before I speak into this audience, I always pray so I can say the right thing, the right information. And I missed a lot. 3 hours, 9 minutes. I missed a lot, and hopefully, I still keep up and trying to put it on the side and listening. But um, I had to react. I have to do something about this.
Yeah. So tomorrow,
That's incredible.
we'll open the floor for you, and especially you and Ezra, since you had this topic. and I saw that this is a topic for a session. You know that we need to just place a session for such a topic about education. And I know Prof. Ezra is also passionate about it, and you are also passionate about teaching and stuff. And again, Dr. Beneza, he's also a man who's an intellectual. I think you can
Yes.
have a contribution tomorrow. Please join us if you're not
Yeah,
busy.
I will. I'll
Ye-
try my best. I'll be on a trip back to Bishoftu tomorrow, so I'm not sure what time I'll be there, but I'll try to join you guys. But education is the key. I do believe in that. Um, I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm glad that I've met you, Professor Ezra and Biggie. I'm glad because we need people who change the education system. It's so messed up. I have to say that it's really messy, and we need to really clean it up, and it
Yep.
has to be worked on. So, uh, yeah, I would love to join.
Okay,
And by the
when we
way, I spent my half almost I can say half of my high school time in Bishoftu. So I consider
Oh wow!
myself really more Bishoftu than
Ah,
Addis.
Not
I
not
love
Shaggar, not
yeah
Shaggar. Eh?
and I loved Dabra Zayt, you know, they call Dabra
yeah,
Zayt Bishoftu.
Devrizay. Yeah.
And I used to live in the Mokone North Safar, which is the
Ah,
Air
nice.
Force elite, right? And
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
my aunt was the head of nurse for the Air Force,
Hmm.
so I lived there. I know the in and out. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And when you get there, please say to, when you go to Hora, say Ephraim.
Okay.
It will respond back to you.
All right, all right.
Legend. So you're a legend there.
legend, you left the mark.
Oh, I've done a lot in the Bishop too, so especially by
I'm
the
telling
lake.
you.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I'll let you know. I'll let you
All right,
know.
thank
So
you.
so
All
so
right.
so so Ephraim, maybe they know you as the voice, eh?
Oh, yeah,
The voice.
Yeah,
the
Oh, the
voice,
Ephraim,
yeah.
the
The
voice.
the
voice.
voice.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Oh my
It's so
God, you guys are
interesting.
funny. Thank you.
It's really interesting.
Yep.
Thank you,
Hmm.
guys. This is a big family. Please, let's keep growing. I hope to hear new people, new perspectives, new perceptions every day in this channel. Please, please invite people in.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and please, all the ladies out there, please join us. All the uh, ladies and gentlemen, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think like yesterday, Ezra, Pastor Excellency Pastor Ezra, suggested a very interesting thing. Like even if have, you don't have to speak in a language that you're not comfortable with. If you have a
Very true.
different language you want to share, we will have enough. We have enough people amongst us here, even here in this team, to be able to help translate that you to help communicate and to help you translate it. So you can come in and speak in your language. From We have people from the Gambia, Nigeria, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, and we have all the major languages that could be used to help translate for you. So feel free and be comfortable to come in and just chime in. I don't think there's a platform out there that does this level of openness to the audience.
Mm.
I was just an audience one day, and now they've given me this honorary names that I've never been afforded before. you know, so I mean the kind of respect and honor I've been afforded in this platform is beyond it. So we honor our audience so much, and look at your comments have been aired publicly. You can see it, so it's not just hidden in the chat room like in other platforms. We're using tools and instruments that we could possibly use out there in terms of technology to make sure that different voices and different perspectives, even though today we are dominated by Ethiopians, trust me, it's not going to be lasting forever. Ethiopians are not going to continue to dominate this platform, or East Africans or Eritreans. The Somalis are not going to just continue to dominate this. Right now, today, the prevailing issues is happening in and the Horn of Africa is a serious issue that a lot of Africans are interested in, and then because of that, you see huge voices coming in. But I tell you, like, there's a lot of in the days and months and weeks and years ahead of this platform is going to grow to encompass all the things. Earlier, we had the Gambia telling us about the stories of the Gambia. We did exploration of the Gambia, and it's like a small country with big history, with big impact. And so I want to encourage people to join and be free, and you don't need to be articulate. Don't be intimidated. We are not like the Western powers where we will judge you based on how great you articulate something. We are Africans. We're not afraid of being poor or weak or inarticulate. We're not, because our sense of who we are is not defined by what we say and don't say, what we do and don't do. Our sense of who we are is really tied down to the basic fundamental principle of humanity. You're a human being. That's all that matters. Whether you have accomplished great things or whether you accomplished little things, it doesn't matter. It's all of those things are just side notes on the grand scheme of things. So we will give you the esteemed position of professorship. Now, what we haven't done in this group, that we haven't given Big E his African. I think I'll call him Chief Big E. He's a chief. He's a chief. African chiefs.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. Chief Biggie. Yeah.
I feel like whenever he comes here, he's the last word.
The chief, the voice of
Hey,
Africa.
guys.
Chiefs. And like in West Africa, if you go to West Africa, if you go to Abenezer said something earlier. If you go to West Africa, like I remember, I've grown up partly in West Africa, and I began to wear traditional clothes. It was a normal thing. It's a normal thing. It's not even overplayed so much. We like in Ethiopia, we wear our traditional clothes. In the old days, we used to wear our traditional clothes as normal, but now we don't. But in West Africa, traditional clothes is so normal. I mean, so absolutely, it's not even a big deal. It's a big deal for foreigners like me who comes here, like inundated, surrounded by Africans wearing their own African traditional clothes. So to me, that there are instances where so for Ebenezer, I want to say the warrior. I want to give him the warrior Ebenezer. He's the ground. He's on the
The
ground,
warrior, yeah.
really pushing the boundaries and He's
Nice,
expanding
nice.
the barriers. So that's me
Thank you very
giving.
much.
The
I'm
warrior.
honored.
Yeah.
I'm really honored.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep fighting if you push me really hard like this. Now I'm the warrior, so I'll have
Yeah.
to fight
Oh, I
harder
like
than
that. I
this.
like that. So we have a
Yeah.
chief, we have a warrior, we have a pastor. Wow. And we have
There you go.
Wow.
Professor Ezra.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Ezra, on the thing that you just said about this platform. Okay, this platform, like you said, it just happened to start within the Ethiopian issue, right? So consider this platform the quilt of Africa. Think
Yes.
about it. This is the quilt. So today is gonna be Ethiopia. Tomorrow is gonna be Guinea. It's gonna be Tanzania. It can be as we patch and put this quilt together and think, just look at it, how beautiful quilt we can build out of this platform. And each quilt will have its own fabric, its own reflection, its own way on how to help the other African land. We passed this hurdle of Ethiopia right now, and we're moving toward a better future. I am really, really into it. And I told you my thinking, my thought and emotion. Right now, I even increased it to see this beautiful Africa quilt that's going to be, we just started just to have a little difference. And imagine as we all put, we have so many great Africans out there that are so passionate of doing certain things. Sometimes we can invite them into whatever that we need to discuss about. We can have an expertise on things. So this is, remember, this platform is just the beginning of an African quilt. And we're patching it as it comes.
Yeah.
All Africans, we all have that same way of putting together to build something great. So I call it
Yeah.
the African quilt.
Yep.
If
And
everybody,
we are weaving in all these different facets that
absolutely,
have existed. We are not creating
hmm,
something new.
no,
We're just
always
putting
there.
them together. It's
Yep,
always been there, but we're just putting
yep,
them together for people to see and experience and appreciate and then put their stake on it,
yep,
put their essence on it. So that's
yep.
essentially, but it's a
Yeah.
process, so it takes time. So
Ezra,
yeah,
I
Prof.
think
Guru.
we left out Mika. So yeah, I think we should call him the Panther Mika. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah,
the Black Panther.
definitely.
The Panther.
I also call him His Excellency as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, no, that's not.
Because I know in Tanzania they also love using that word. But anyway, yeah,
Excellent.
what you say? What you say, Prof. Kuru? What are you thinking? Penta?
The Panther,
Panther,
the Panther
The
Mika.
Penta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
panther.
The
I
Huh.
think
Penta.
Dominant of the
like
forest. That's good.
yeah, but to me, more like he's more like Simba,
Simba.
the
Simba.
lion.
Hmm.
Well,
He's more
still,
Let's
like
put it
it's
let's put it
the
this,
king.
bro.
He's
And
more like
we
the
will.
emperor. He's the emperor of the
Nah.
wild. You know?
mm. Yeah. Okay. Not that he deserves. I'll say let's vote for that emperor.
Emperor.
Emperor. No,
The
but
Emperor.
like it will get into his head. No, it wouldn't. He's a very humble guy. But he's the one that really when you are the Lion King in African context, you have the responsibility for the ecosystem. You can't just eat all the things that are edible in front of you. Sometimes you just, as a lion, African lions. Have you seen those videos where they just ignore those animals that are edible, that are their preyers? They
Hmm.
just walk by
Hmm.
them as if they don't exist. Sometimes
Yep.
I don't know if you've noticed videos like that. All the videos that we see is like lions hunting, but for the most part, they're not hunting every animal that's like they see you, they just scoff at you and just move on because that's like a lion, a king. It's not out all to eat. It's out to maintain peace and order and organize the kingdom. So he's doing the organizing. He's the chief architect of this
No, no, no.
organizations.
I think
And
that's too much, Ezra.
Hmm.
okay,
You know what happened? You know what happened? I think, like all the African leaders, he probably will go and do a coup d'état or something like that, right?
no, but I would say he's I'll call him
We will
architect. So
inspire him to do
architect.
that. So,
I will tell Mika. I'll call Mika architect Mika. The
The
architect
architect.
Mika.
The architect.
The architect.
architect? No, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. The architect.
The emperor is going to put him in danger. We don't want to lose him too early.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True.
He'll
True.
be landing in many countries and they're like, hey, what is the emperor
Yeah.
here to do? What is he? What does he want here?
What does His Highness want here?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. True.
I think like
Hey, hey guys, I'm about
as
to
we
wrap
wrap up.
up. I got another
Okay.
call that came in. Sorry about that. And
Okay.
I'll be talking to you tomorrow. That's definitely for sure. May
Okay.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you all. Thank you so
The
much
same
for
to
this
you,
thing that you. It means a lot. It means a lot to
Chief
everybody.
Biggie. Chief
So,
Biggie. We appreciate
the
you.
chief is talking, right?
Thank you,
Yes.
Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Cheers.
Good
Okay.
Thank
night,
you.
Biggie.
Bye.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, man.
just family in closing. Where do we start? Ebenezer, Doc,
Yep.
can you close for us? Your closing statements.
Well, I would like to join you again tomorrow. I don't want to say goodbye.
Okay.
But let's put the motto of education tomorrow, and let's start Africa from scratch because they took everything away. So let's start it from scratch because I believe Africa will rise again, and this time we're not fools. We're actually educated, and we know what we're doing. We know what we want. And this is a family from different countries, from different locations, and it's so beautiful. I feel so motivated, and I'm saying this from deep within because I've been so crying out alone about this, and now to get back on live show and just share my opinions with you and hear different opinions.
I think it's the connection,
Uh,
right?
just, hello.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, so it's really an honor to be among you guys. It's an honor to be part of this family, and let's just add up kids to this family and just let's make it bigger, let's make it
Yeah.
Africa. I will ask people to join. I've shared this link with many people. Let's share it with different African states, Tanzania, Kenya. I've shared it with Kenyans, couple of Kenyans. I've shared it with a couple of Sudanese, and so let's just keep sharing it and let's keep growing and growing because within the number there is power. That's what I believe.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Yes.
thank you guys. God bless you. God bless
Amen.
the entire continent of Africa, including the minor islands around it.
Amen.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen to that, man.
Amen to that.
So we'll see you tomorrow.
You'll see you tomorrow then.
All
Hmm.
right, hopefully.
Definitely.
All right, okay. Ash.
All
All
right.
right. I will.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I will.
don't go yet. Don't go yet. We are not finished. So don't go yet.
Okay. Okay.
So we're still wrapping up, but yeah, we
Yeah,
want
I'm
to hear.
here.
We
I'm
want to make
listening.
sure. Okay.
Who goes
Kuru, you
first?
want to go?
No, no. The pastor has to wrap up with the prayer, I think, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
before the
you're,
pastor,
you're choosing
before the
you're choosing
pastor.
a statement, Prof. Kuru.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're
yeah.
closing. I don't want when we pray and you say, "Oh, and then I wanted to say this and this and this."
Yeah.
Now the floor is
Have we reached
yours.
the
The floor
bottom?
is yours. Eh?
Have you reached the bottom of? Are we scraping the bottom now for ideas? Come on, Kuru, you have endless ideas. So,
Hmm.
Professor Kuru, please
What?
grace us with some conclusive remarks.
Closing remarks. Yeah. I mean, that is, like I said before, I think Africa leaders, and also African people, I think it is time for them to stand with Ethiopia, right? Once and for that's the most important thing, and yeah, we should let's be the voice of Africa. Let's speak up, okay, and let's unite. I mean, that's just all I really wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you. That's
Guru.
good.
Prof. Ezra.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Excellency. Warriors and professors and chiefs and architects and many, 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 many more out there across Africa who are listening now and who will be listening and hearing our thoughts and ideas here. We really appreciate you. We are on the precipice of a rise of new ideas that will innovate our world, that will improve our world. No, we're not just only going to be addressing our problems here. We will be addressing Africa's problem, we will be addressing the world's problems. And we are in that kind of position right now. We are in a very opportunistic position for Africa right now. Like for those of you who are in the West who are afraid of Africa, don't be afraid. The only thing that you should be afraid of is, like your famous president said, is fear only. Don't, there's nothing to be afraid of Africa. Africa has never in its history hurt any other person or any other. All Africa has done in its history is absorb its own hurt, its own pain, and then continue to tolerate its own pain and suffering. And we Africans are saying, nah, we no longer tolerate this pain and suffering, not just here, not just in our continent, but across the world, where the world, the way the world was organized, we want to reimagine and re-innovate the way the world is organized, and then we want to have a say in that, and we want to have a real, a substantive say in that, and we should. And that's what we are seeking here. We are not seeking for retributions. We are seeking to realize our aspirations, and our aspirations are good, and are good for us, and are good for the world. And so the Western powers forget about your retributions. There's no retribution. There's no reparations. Like the way we're not going to go back as Africans and seek retributions. There are some Africans who want that, but most Africans, we just want to resolve our issues right now, and we just want to have opportunities for ourselves and our kids and our communities, like every other part of the humanity. And return, by doing that, we're going to change the world. There's going to be a young child out there that's going to grow up and change and transform our ideas about space, our values about climate, our perspective on economy, our philosophies on faith and religion and spirituality and intellectual psychology. There are so many Africans who are just there with potentials, God-given great potentials that need to be realized and that need to be fulfilled. And that's all we are seeking. And seeking that, we are not trying to redraw the world order. We are trying to expand on the world order. We are trying to embrace a bigger platform that can accommodate more than that, more than just those on this planet. So we are, so that's the thing, that's the way I'm reading it. It might not be articulated that way sometimes, but essentially the ultimate is, that's what I want to read for you. And the danger, let me give you the dangerous part. If Ethiopia collapses, the entire continent collapses. I can guarantee you this. Almost every country in Africa mimics in one form or another the way Ethiopia is organized around, when it comes to the issue of, culture and tribes, okay? Cultures and tribes and language and history and experience is so similar. So if you help the collapse of Ethiopia, Kenyans will be asking, the different groupings in Kenya will be asking the same questions. So, the danger that you are pushing, the button of that dangerous button you are pressing the button that you are not ready and prepared to deal with. If Nigeria collapse, because Ethiopia collapse, then what is to stop Nigeria from collapsing? If Ethiopia, that has stood colonization and great powers, now cannot stand up and cannot sustain its power, and it cannot resist that power and collapse, other weaker African nations that don't have the same degree of power and energy, what is going to happen? A total and absolute it really puts in danger your existing systems and structures. Whatever systems and structures that you put in there to sustain neocolonialism, even that is going to be under more serious threat. So, and I think that's my calculation. Somebody else's calculation might be wrong, but I think my calculation, based on the prevailing condition, that's the thing. So I want Africans to realize that the reason you're supporting Africa is for your self-interest, not because it's sentiment. Of course, sentiment is important. A lot of African countries see Ethiopia in a certain way, but that sentiment is important, essential. But the bigger and more powerful and more potent issue is that what happens to Ethiopia is not going to stay in Ethiopia. If it's good, it's not going to stay in Ethiopia. If it is bad, it's not going to stay in Ethiopia. So your prayer, your actions, your sense of self, your directions, and the choices that you make in your life should be to in recognition of, okay, this is the thing. This is the lines have been drawn. I want to be on the side of Ethiopia so that the world is better off because of that. That's the thing that you want to do. You want to be on the side of Ethiopia because it serves you, it protects you, it guarantees your safety, your security, and your humanity. And that's the thing that Ethiopia is at the forefront, but is not alone in that. It happens to be the first in the line, in the queue. In the queue that we have, it happens to be probably not first. You have Libya that experiences, so probably like second or third in line on the queue. No, of course, Somalia is there, Eritrea is there that have experienced something like this. So Ethiopia happens to be the next in line in the queue of disasters in Africa. So we don't want that because it's dangerous, dangerous. And so if the aspiration part I told you earlier doesn't inspire you, the scary part should inspire you. That's what I meant. Thank you. I know it was extended closing remark, but thank you for listening to me and paying attention to me. I appreciate that. And back to Excellency Pastor Ezra.
Thank you for very much for all the closing remarks. And what you just said now, Prof. Ezra, about Ethiopia's collapse. I mean, one should remember that Ethiopia is the house of the African Union, which means there's no African Union then. There's no Africa then. What you said, I second that. By saying that the home of African Union is Ethiopia. So we basically that's where all things start, which means there's no African Union, there's no Africa. Anyway, family, can we do our closing prayer? Oh, before closing prayer, I just want to quickly just share the fundraising as well. The fundraising that we are busy with to send our brother Mika to Ethiopia. Feel free, family, to join our GoFund and to raise fund for our brother Mika. As we planning to take him to Ethiopia, to be on the ground, to visit the land of Ethiopia, the home of Africa, and the capital of Africa, in fact. So this is the GoFund link that I'll be sharing just now. Wait, where's this fund? So feel free to join and be part of this fund that we are busy trying to raise for our brother Mika. Wait, sorry about that, guys. This is our GoFund that we're trying to raise for our brother Mika. Feel free to go to the link that I just shared now. You can click there and then contribute anything you feel that God has placed in your heart, or you feel that you need to reach out. As Professor Ezra said in our opening statement, that this is us also going with him. He's going on our behalf as One Africa. Anything that you feel that you want to contribute on, join and contribute anything. And it's not all about money only, but if you've got a resource, a tripod, a microphone, a camera, or just anything, maybe a cup of coffee that you want to invite him over, and we can have a discussion and have One Africa forum held with a cup of coffee being shared. Just a lot of things. So this is just one platform that we are using, and feel free that whenever you feel that there's something that you want to contribute, you can contribute to that. And then the link, I just shared the link, and click go to that link. Share whatever you feel that you can afford or that you feel that you have in your account. And then obviously it's an open platform. We will show you everything, the trip, everything. This for tickets, place to stay, the food, and obviously the resources that he needs when he's that side. And if you've got some of the things, like maybe you want to contribute, be it a camera, or you want to contribute maybe a venue there that you want to host us
Or
there,
a car,
or
or
a
a car
car,
if you have transportation.
feel free to also send. I just there's an email there called Swahili Nation Official at gmail.com. Also feel free to send your inquiry or whatever you feel that you want to contribute in Ethiopia. If you're in the land of Ethiopia, if there's anything, a car, as my brother has already said, if it's a Airbnb ticket, well, I mean, a Airbnb booking, or it's a flight ticket you wanna just sponsor, then feel free to just contact us on Swahili Nation, Swahili Nation Official at gmail.com. Or if you've got a monetary money, you can also just go to the link that I just shared as well for the GoFundMe.com, and then put your contribution there for brother Mika. We know that he's a hard worker. And if you can see, if people have been monitoring this week, this past weeks, he's been posting a lot of videos, a lot of videos. So it's a lot of hard work. So we're just trying to also make his work easier when he goes there, because obviously it's a working visit. There will be content that he will also want to do that side. We just want to make it as easy as possible for him. And yes, feel free to do that. Get hold of us and on Swahili Nation Official at gmail.com, or go to the GoFundMe.com website link that I just shared, and then place your contribution there. And we also appreciate a lot of people that have been contributing. We've also been contributing, by the way. Um, Also been contributing a lot. Let me see. I'm just show you here. Being, if you can see the site, there's a lot of contributors here. So just feel free to go into this website. It's very simple, guys. If you won't really get lost, you just select your donate, whatever, and then you'll see that you'll just need your details and your bank details, and that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just about it for tonight.
Uh,
I don't know if you want to add something, Prof. Ezra or Prof. Kuno.
a few of the comments, few of the comments that I thought to like before we close it, I really want to. I was hoping that we cover that. I think Ali Noor, he says he just joined. He was really active yesterday. Ali Noor from Somalia is incredible. Mika has been sending us message, right? He said missed every single one of you all. I love this team. Hashtag dream team. African problem should be solved by Africans. Love Ethiopia. That's incredible. We must show one Africa support to Ethiopians right at this moment. So, I think it's Tamrat. So we are in solidarity with Ethiopians. We're praying for Ethiopia. This whole issue is about not just Ethiopia but Africa, and then those suffering, under the hands of. So I thought we would just look at few of the comments. I think Sadeka said something earlier. Education is the key. We have to sow special seed now, and we are already reaping what is sown before. And that's incredible point. I mean, like really, what you plant is like this is somebody who understands education here. He's saying very interesting thing. It's like when a child goes to kindergarten, you have to think of it. We are 10, 12 years later. That's when the seedling comes to fruition. 10 to 12 years. So it's such a critical thing that we start right and end right. And the seeds that we plant in Africa is usually in education system, because it's not our contextually, it's not ours. The fruit, you don't see it at the end of it.
30 million Ethiopian kids get into the beginning of the education system. Probably half a million get out of it at the end of the education system. That's the best scenario. That's, to me, it tells you how bad the seed is, the planting is. So there's a lot of growth content that's coming from our participant, and Eleni was saying incredible stuff. Some of the comment, I don't see it. I know Red Sea use he's boiling with rage, I'm sure. So we get you that we understand you. We talked at length about the issue of Ethiopia and the context of Ethiopia at the beginning of the sessions. So for some of you, if you go to the earlier part of these 3-hour sessions, you will hear some of the points that we made, the context, the big picture, and the analysis, and the nuances also involved in the issues that we're dealing with right now. But overall, the ultimate idea that anybody that's here that needs to understand that the issue for Africans is African issues. It's not what all these powers that be want to do and wish to do. It's all about Africans. We Africans have to come together, have to unite, and we have to deal with our problems ourselves. We have to confront and deal with the issues ourselves and ahead of time, be ahead of the curve. So whether the US want to invade you or not would depend on how strong you are, how weak you are. So whether other forces, be it Asian or American or European or whatever it is, want to come in, it comes down to our understanding and the sense of self, and our knowledge and our sense of who we are as Africans, our values, our culture, our tradition, our experience, our aspirations, our challenges. Those are the things that should preoccupy us. And in order to deal with those things, we need to come together. Ethiopia cannot do it by itself. Tanzania cannot do it by itself. Even South Africa, that is economic giants by itself, is weak in the face of it. Even though it might not be as weak as the other set of Africans, but it might have more leverage than other African countries. But even South Africa struggles because it's by itself. So I want you to get away with the sense that there's a bigger issue at hand, which is an Africanness, a sense of Africanness, a sense of duty for us, for who we are, for what we are, and it starts with you individually, and your understanding, your appreciations, and your value of who you are, and your humanity, and then build on that and relate with your neighbors. Have communities, embrace community values and culture and traditions that have long ignored and pushed aside and cast aside for the sake of Africa fitting into the world order. But we need to come to realization, no, calm down. We're here. We have our values, we have our traditions, we have our experience, we have our aspirations. We will lean on those things to build a united Africa, a prosperous Africa, a better Africa, in return, as a result of that, a better world.
Very true. Wow. Just to add to it, also in closing, for with regards to the GoFundMe, this is also an opportunity for Africans to fund fellow Africans. And this will help us so much when Africans are funding their own projects. Africans are funding their own people, instead of having Africans being funded by the people in the East or the people on the West or even in Europe. So we do need us as well to fund our own projects, because that's the only time people will start also taking us serious. But the moment we thinking when we want anything done, or we need to go and ask America, we need to go, and that's why they'll never respect us. They'll never take us serious. They'll just think we are beggars to them, So once we start funding our own projects, our own visions, that's where it all starts, And the respect will also build. People will start taking us serious. Even when we say now we are approaching big institution for big funding, for a big investment, and we're expanding, then we already have a platform where we've started this thing. No one just came with money and then took a shareholding into that business. So, but yeah, that's just something small. It's just a word of encouragement to those who are funding this project. Um, yeah, and we're gonna go into our prayer now in closing. Yeah. Or my brother Ebenezer, did you also want to bless us with the closing prayer?
You do it today because I'm really tired. I'm sleepy.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the only
Dear.
one who's daytime. You guys are nighttime over there. So I'm
Yeah.
the only one daytime.
Yeah, we
That's why the
we we.
energy level on my end is higher than you guys. Because I'm just at the
It's all,
beginning of
it's almost midnight here, and I think Ethiopia
Uh,
is already morning already. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay. Let's have time to pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for being with us today. Thank you for bringing brothers and sisters together, Lord, to speak, to help, to empower each other with knowledge, with wisdom. We thank you, Father God, for the unity and the spirit of love that you've brought amongst the brothers and sisters. We pray, Father God, that this love may grow in all corners of our continent, from east to west, from north to south, and may it grow and may it be known all over the world that Africans love one another. Africans have developed themselves. Africans are serious about going forward and building their own societies. We thank you, Father, as we are going in different places, different jobs, different activities. Bless everything that we do until we meet again. We pray, Father God, that you protect us, that you preserve us, that we'll all come back in one piece. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Your prayers, it touches, like I'm like slightly in tears here. Touches right in the heart. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Ezra. We appreciate you.
Thank you
Thank you
guys
very
for
much.
being
All
here.
right.
I
Mhm.
also I have so much strength when I see you you holding me as well through
Mhm.
this night, and
Mhm.
I know Mika will be here tomorrow. She'll be with us tomorrow, and it'll be nice because I saw some people saying they miss us Mika's smile, and
Yeah.
you know, there's the lady. I think that lady must come tomorrow. Since you're missing Mika's smile, you must join in tomorrow on the live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
thank you, gentlemen, for the night. Thank
Yeah.
you for being here, and thank you for all the support. And Mika sent his regards as well, and he thanked everyone for coming in for today and being part of the platform and speaking. And till we meet again tomorrow, or on the chats, or on our other forums.
All right.
Shalom from
Okay.
my side.
Okay.
Shalom, all of you. All
Shalom.
right. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Shalom, everyone at home. I hope you enjoyed the service that we had today. Um, Tomorrow again, please join us as we'll be continuing with our conversation. We had to cut one of our topics that we'll be talking about, which is education. A lot of people will be here. Avail yourself, come and contribute, come and join us. We will be sharing the links to join. Come and speak your mind. Come and tell us if you are an expert on any subject matter. Come and join us. Come and teach us. The knowledge is there. We all want to learn, and let's not keep all our knowledge among ourselves, but let's share with the whole continent. And let us be an Africa that is sharing knowledge instead of just consuming knowledge from other people. Let us be a knowledge creators and knowledge share knowledge with other people all over the world. So I'm excited about tomorrow, and I hope I'll see most of you tomorrow on the platforms, and some of you will join on the links. The link will be shared. Please avail yourself and come and be part of the contribution and the growth that we are planning. And from my side, Tomorrow, Mika will be here. To those who missed Mika, and he loves you so much, family. So avail yourself. Mika will be here. You'll see the lovely smile from Mika. So from my side, it's shalom, and let's meet again tomorrow, same time. 9 p.m. Central, no, 8 p.m. Central African time, and 9 p.m. Eastern African time. So let's meet tomorrow. Bye.